少し乱暴しようか。
私は強くなるんだ。そのためなら何だって。
自分の良心に従って人を助ける。
オーラってやつは隠してもにじみ出るもんだからな。
Karena ini hal baru ya, mungkin ya ada sih ketakutan itu ada. Apa sih itu ML, e-sport itu apa?
Yang membuat sulit karena tidak ada yang mengarahkan.
Paradigma pemikiran dari orang tua dan beberapa kalangan yang menganggap bahwa permainan game itu mengganggu waktu belajar.
Ketika saya membaca kata akademi saja, di situ respect saya satu. Ini adalah lembaga yang sangat peduli terhadap pendidikan dan pembelajaran anak. Jadi anak-anak kita itu memang akan ada keberminatan, tapi keberminatan ini tidak menjadi sesuatu yang merugikan untuk dirinya sendiri. Tetapi ternyata di situ ada nilai-nilai yang bisa dikembangkan untuk dirinya.
Rata-rata belum banyak tahu bahwa game online ini bisa dibentuk menjadi sarana selain kreativitas juga menjadi sarana prestasi. Ini adalah sarana prestasi yang bisa menjamin keberlangsungan pendidikan mereka.
Kalau bisa benar-benar dikurasi sama dinas pendidikan, karena secara nggak langsung itu akan kontribusi buat anak ke jalur prestasi. Karena beberapa SMA sudah ada yang menerima jalur prestasi e-sport. Jadi orang tua biar ada pengakuan, oh ternyata anak saya main game ada hasilnya ya, gitu. Itu.
Yang selama ini game online dianggap sebagai kegiatan negatif, kami berhasil ubah persepsinya menjadi positif. Artinya, outcome dari dinamika pemahaman bahwa game online ini bisa menjadi satu sarana profesional, ini cukup banyak menghasilkan hasil yang positif. Jadi, kami mencetak atlet lebih mudah. Karena sekolah memahami, orang tua memahami. Tantangan kita sebenarnya kultur saja. Kultur yang membangun persepsi negatif terhadap game online, dan itu kami sudah hadapi selama kurang lebih 5 tahun terakhir, dan alhamdulillah trennya cukup positif.
Dampak positif yang saya dapat ketika saya pertama kali kenal e-sport adalah tentunya sangat berpengaruh pada relasi ya. Relasi saya jadi makin luas gitu.
Ngubah Bella jadi pribadi yang gak toksik mungkin ya. Itulah aku ikut e-sport, aku bisa menghasilkan, nggak yang kayak mama papaku bilang kalau itu cuma buang-buang waktu, buang-buang uang.
Awal-awal itu saya kan juga daftar itu bukan dari player kan, saya daftar dari caster. Influence saya itu semakin meningkat, soalnya kan sering ini live stream.
Bisa punya banyak temen, jadi lebih terbuka sama orang tua. Kalau dari keluarga, mungkin keluarga bisa bangga sama saya.
Gak mau dianggap remeh orang, soalnya kan dulu sering dianggap remeh sama teman-teman gitu.
Kita dapat panggilan dari SI Jawa Timur untuk pelatihan pelatih di Akademi Garudaku di Jakarta. Pelatihan itu kita diberikan pengarahan-pengarahan untuk menjadi seorang pelatih, sangkut pautnya ada dengan public speaking, kemudian dengan siswa, kemudian dengan attitude.
Untuk kendala mungkin yang pertama bisa jadi karena jaringan internet. Menurut saya sulitnya itu dari segi device, dari segi handphone dan juga dukungan orang tua.
Setiap manusia juga, apalagi setiap anak memiliki perekonomian yang berbeda-beda gitu dari keluarganya masing-masing gitu. Ada yang strata ekonominya di atas, ada yang strata ekonominya di bawah.
Selagi itu baik, positif, ya monggo diteruskan.
Makin kesini sekolah-sekolah itu udah banyak yang lirik untuk mendirikan ekstrakurikuler e-sport.
Jadi dengan adanya wadah ekstrakurikuler ini, harapan kami program dari Muntun ini betul-betul bisa mengangkat brandingnya sekolah, dan itu juga bermanfaat positif khususnya untuk anak-anak.
Ya, kami berterima kasih sebab kita hitungannya kayak disponsoring gitu.
Dengan adanya beasiswa yang diberikan Muntun Care, Sopkap, dan Garudaku juga, aku jadi bisa kayak mulai mengenal jenjang prosin gitu sih.
Saya merasa bangga dan berterima kasih karena Muntun mau menyempatkan buat hadir di sekolah kami.
Nah, adanya program dari Muntun Cares tersebut mungkin bisa membantu mereka untuk menggapai cita-cita mereka.
Muntun Cares!
Kalau bisa musuhnya di situ, jadi kamu langsung berbagi kayak
Oke.
Nah, jadi kamu harus pakai skill 2-nya, terus pakai komik. Coba kamu sekarang main.
Iya! Akhirnya aku naik.
바로 출동하겠습니다.
네. 직원이 곧 와요. 걱정 마세요.
Staf akan segera datang. Jangan khawatir.
Pakai aplikasi GoPay, dompet andalan gamers.
Banyak damage-nya.
Ada cashback hingga 20.000
buat upgrade skin baru.
Aplikasi ringan gak makan memori.
HP lemot bisa victory.
Top up langsung dalam game
tanpa hambatan. Ikutan selebrasi MPL di aplikasi GoPay. Menambah total hadiah ratusan juta. Bonus stage. Gratis 100 kali transfer kemana aja. Beli pulsa harga termurah. Scan QRIS dengan mudah. Download sebelum mabarkan.
Dia tidak akan segan untuk menghadapi siapapun yang berani melawan. Dia mewarisi perjuangan karena di tubuhnya mengalir darah seorang pahlawan. Pedangnya mengukir takdir kemenangan, menghadapi segala tantangan. Penuh keberanian untuk terus berjalan menuju masa depan. Raihlah masa depan, nabung mulai dari hobi. Koleksi terbaru UBS Gold X Mobile Legends Bang Bang, edisi spesial MPL ID Season 13. Kita adalah pejuang yang melangkah dengan penuh keyakinan, menghadapi dunia tanpa keraguan, karena hidup adalah arena pertarungan. Kita adalah pejuang yang tak akan gentar oleh segala tantangan, menghadapi lawan tanpa ketakutan, karena kita terlahir untuk meraih kemenangan. Raihlah kemenangan dengan koleksi terbaru UBS Gold X Mobile Legends Bang Bang, edisi spesial MPL ID Season 13. Saatnya nabung dari hobi bersama UBS Gold.
Top-up mudah di dunia games. Pilih game, masukkan game ID. Pilih Diamond, masukkan kode promo, dan pilih metode pembayaran. Masukkan kode OTP. Selamat, kamu dapat tambahan kuota. Upgrade gameplaymu sekarang.
Game smash andalanku bikin mainku semakin hebat. Tukar DG rings, diamond dan voucher game kau dapat. Main MOBA apa aja win streak di tanganmu. Cuma game smash makin no debat. Beli paketnya dan aktifkan boosternya sekarang.
Tuh, kalau misalnya musuhnya di situ, jadi kamu langsung berbagi kayak.
Oke.
Nah, jadi kamu harus pakai skill 2-nya, terus pakai komik. Coba kamu sekarang main.
Iya, akhirnya aku naik. 바로 출동하겠습니다.
네. 직원이 곧 와요. 걱정 마세요.
Staf akan segera datang. Jangan khawatir.
Character select.
Bener.
HoYoLAB.
Stop! Pada klik Indomaret, belanja 1 jam sampai dan gratis ongkir loh.
Wah, belanja online kayak belanja di toko Indomaret.
Kenyang, siap main lagi.
Let's go!
Belanja online seperti di toko.
It's only you who rocks my world.
I'll be, yeah, I'll be wherever I wanna be. Wherever I wanna be.
し乱暴しようか。
私は強くなるんだ。そのためなら何だって。
自分の良心に従って人を助ける。
オーラってやつは隠してもにじみ出るもんだからな。
Kan berdiri dan terus berlari, terus ke arah puncak tertinggi. Ku takkan berhenti hanya sampai di sini. Kemenangan abadi menanti. You know we won't miss if we unite our focus. And if you haven't noticed, we all live. Nyalakan apimu, hadapi semua tantangan, hadang semua serangan, jatuh bukan halangan. Bakar semangatmu, janganlah engkau menyerah. Kita akan buat sejarah. We all this, we won't miss. We all this, we won't miss. Saatnya beraksi, jalani ambisi. Aku kan menyawakan hari ini. You know we won't miss if we unite our focus. And if you haven't noticed, we won't miss. We all this, we won't miss. We
From Jakarta International Velodrome, MPL Season 13 is powered by Moontalk. Presented by official tournament smartphone, Samsung. We own this.
Geek Fam sudah datang dengan semangat baru setelah mengalami hari yang buruk saat harus turun ke lower bracket. Sang kapten, Baloyski, sudah siap untuk hari penentuan di mana hanya ada satu nyawa yang tersisa dengan tiket MSC 2024 yang sudah di depan mata. Menghadapi sang pemuncak klasemen Bigetron Alpha, akankah sejarah season lalu kembali terukir di mana Geek Fam berhasil memulangkan sang robot Bigetron Alpha? Dan tentunya inilah sang penantang yang sudah hadir. Sang robot merah Bigetron Alpha sudah siap untuk kembali menunjukkan dominasinya. Sempat tertatih di upper bracket, kini mereka sudah berlatih agar hasil buruk tak lagi mereka raih. Babak playoff hari yang ketiga telah hadir. Kita akan menyaksikan bahwa takdir dari 4 tim akan terukir. Di saat akan ada 3 tim yang akan maju melangkah, harus ada 1 tim yang berpasrah. Kita akan menyaksikan semuanya tentu di panggung megah dari MPL Indonesia Season 13 Playoff. Begitu bahagianya kita melihat dan berkumpul pula untuk bersama-sama menyaksikan siapakah tim yang bisa mendapatkan kesempatan itu. Kesempatan masih terbuka untuk tim Bigetron Alpha dan juga Geek Fam. Namun nanti akan ada perebutan slot yang akan untuk didapatkan oleh tim Fnatic Onyx dan juga ada tim EVOS Glory. Semua mata memandang, semuanya menantikan. Namun acara ini begitu meriah tentunya kepada super fans yang sudah hadir, yang ada di rumah, yang juga menanti-nantikan seperti apa jalannya pertandingan hari ini. Tentu saja begitu sponsor, Bude berterima kasih karena begitu meriahnya MPL Indonesia Season 13 powered by Munton, Government Partner PBSI, dan juga kita punya presented by Official Tournament Smartphone Samsung Galaxy, Official e-wallet GoPay, Official Destination for Gaming and Esports Kidia, Official Gold Partner UBS Gold, dan juga ada partner in esports Campina, Oraimo, Telkomsel, Dunia Games, dan Games Max. Dan juga suppliers kita ada Indomaret, Point Coffee, Samsung Neo QLED Super Smart TV Plus, dan juga Saturday. Dan juga venue partner kita, Jak Pro. Semua yang sudah hadir tentunya juga menantikan seperti apa kemeriahan hari ini. Kita mengingat bahwa Geek Fam mereka berjuang dengan sangat gigih kemarin. Namun Bigetron sayangnya di debut mereka di babak playoff tidak menghasilkan hasil yang baik. Kita akan membahas pula dari 2 tim ini, inilah dia hal yang harus diperhatikan karena hari ini adalah hari yang menentukan karena go big or go home. Gak akan ada kesempatan lagi. Mereka harus bisa mengambil ini. Bigetron yang telah memperlihatkan performa yang luar biasa justru harus berakhir dalam dejavu MPL Indonesia Season 12. Di mana mereka bisa saja kembali dipulangkan oleh Geek Fam seperti musim lalu. Namun sebenarnya ini juga bisa jadi ajang pembalasan untuk mereka atas apa yang terjadi dengan balik memulangkan Geek di kesempatan ini. Sebaiknya dari tim Geek Fam ini menjadi match pembuktian. Meski terengah-engah di regular season, mereka bisa menampilkan match yang memukau. Lalu mereka juga hampir menurunkan Raja Langit di upper bracket. Kedua-duanya sama-sama merah, tapi siapa tim yang akan marah untuk match hari ini? Semuanya menantikan seperti apa pertarungan ini. Karena hanya dalam best of 5 series, nasib mereka, takdir mereka, dan jalannya pertarungan akan diberikan, akan ditentukan dari match hari ini. Kedua player dari kedua tim, kita akan melihat performa seperti apa yang akan diberikan. Mengingat mereka sudah merasakan panggung MPL dengan panas, support dari semua super fans dan juga support system. Dan bagaimana cara mereka untuk bisa memenangkannya, kita akan tahu sesaat lagi. Namun sebelum itu, tentu saja ada rekan Bude di sana, Monica yang sudah bersama dengan support system dari para player. Siapakah itu? Monica, ada siapa di sana? Yes Bude, tentunya support system bukan hanya dari super fans tapi khususnya datang juga dari keluarga. Dan kali ini Monica sudah bersama dengan support system salah satu player dari Bigetron Alpha. Nah ini kalau setiap playoff rasanya udah gak asing nih wajahnya karena setiap playoff selalu hadir kalau player ini yaitu Moreno hadir di stage playoff. Dan langsung saja Monica sapa. Halo Papa Moreno. Halo dan juga Oma dari Moreno. Halo. Wah pantesan ya. Moreno tuh kan terkenal coolnya. Bapaknya gini aja cool banget ya. Ini jangan-jangan bapaknya pro player juga nih?
Saya model.
Oh model.
Saya model yang gak pantas ditiru.
Oh loh tapi luar biasa nih. Mendidik anak bisa menjadi seorang pro player.
Ya itu Moreno juga dari SMP sudah memang niatnya jadi pro player dan dia senang sama Just No Limit ya kalau nggak salah ya. Ya kebetulan saya sama neneknya memang fully support lah. Apa yang dia mau kita dukung, kita cuman bantu supaya nggak harus menang, tapi jangan sampai kalah gitu aja.
Ya gimana tuh Om, jadi
pokoknya-
ya harus menang tapi
Ya,
jangan
prinsipnya
kalah
gitu.
tapi harus menang ya.
Iya.
Itu ya, jadi ini support dari keluarga. Tapi Monica penasaran, Oma ikutin perjalanan Moreno di MPL Indonesia?
Ikut, dari awal dia masuk. Oma terus ikut, sekalipun nggak kadang ke sini, dari rumah pun semua Oma ikutin untuk support Moreno.
Bentar, jangan-jangan Oma sering push rank ya? Oma
Pokoknya-
ranknya udah apa nih? Ranknya apa nih? Ranknya, mainnya, sering main?
Oma kalau main enggak, tapi yang senangnya nonton, ngasih semangat buat anak-anak Bigetron semua dan semua.
Oh iya semua ya?
Semuanya harus semangat.
Harus semangat.
Harus semangat.
Ini omanya aja udah semangat banget, apalagi anak-anak dari Bigetron Alpha.
Iya.
Tapi Om, ini kan
Iya.
nyawa terakhir nih dari Bigetron Alpha. Hari ini kalau kalah dari Geek Fam harus pulang terhenti di sini. Ini gimana nih support dari seorang ayah, oma, keluarganya untuk memberikan semangat?
Ya, kalau saya percaya semua kan sudah diatur. Semesta akan akan membantu apapun yang menjadi keputusan dari hasil ini. Saya tetap mendukung supaya Bigetron memberi yang terbaik dan Geek Fan pun have fun, ya kan? Ya namanya pertandingan ada menang ada kalah, cuma buat saya yang penting sebagai orang tua kita mendukung aja.
Mendukung, intinya mendukung. Tapi penasaran juga ya, Moreno tuh sosok seperti apa kalau di stage biasanya cool, keren gitu. Oma, Moreno tuh sosok seperti apa sih di mata Oma?
Ya Moreno itu sebenarnya dia anaknya baik. Cuman memang dia banyak diem. Tapi kalau dia sudah ketemu sama temennya yang cocok, dia happy aja. Gitu memang dia orangnya kadang-kadang kelihatannya sombong. Tapi dia enggak. Kayak begitu.
Enggak kok, Oma enggak sombong. Itu tuh ciri khasnya. Cool, kayak bapaknya nih, cool banget. Yang mungkin terakhir sebelum kita melihat bagaimana pertandingan hari ini, pesan-pesan untuk Moreno dan juga teman-teman Bigetron Alpha, Om dan Oma?
Ya balik lagi, kasih yang terbaik. Semua fans yang datang itu walaupun sedikit, tapi yang nonton kan banyak ya. Saya berharap ini jadi momentum buat, ya kan nggak harus juga menang terus. Kalah pun belum akhir gitu. Selalu ada harapan lah. Jadi maju terus, apapun itu selalu ada harapan di setiap tikungan.
Ada harapan di setiap tikungan. Kayaknya ini kata-kata mutiara dari Om nih hari ini banyak banget. Oma, ada pesan-pesan?
Ya buat Bigetron semuanya dengan timnya, kami dari keluarga Moreno mengucapkan benar-benar berterima kasih. Kesulitan mereka, kebaikan-kebaikan mereka, kekompakan mereka, itu luar biasa. Kalah menang di dalam pertandingan biasa, tidak perlu mundur, semangat terus. Karena kita juga percaya sampai season reguler mereka tetap di atas. Kemarin dia kalah, gak apa-apa. Ya memang begitu namanya pertandingan, semua berharap menang. Tidak ada orang bertanding berharap kalah. Jadi buat Bigetron dan semuanya, semangat terus.
Semangat terus. Ini super fan, super system dari keluarga sudah begitu semangat. Kita akan melihat bagaimana para player ini semangat bertemu dalam pertandingan di Land of Dawn. Satu nyawa yang tersisa. Akan ada yang pulang, tapi akan ada yang melaju terus ke babak selanjutnya. Dan kita sudah penasaran, langsung saja kita lihat inilah pertandingan antara Bigetron Alpha dan Geek Fam.
Welcome back to the MPL Indonesia Season 13 playoffs in Jakarta International Velodrome, a place where legends are made and legacies are cemented. Back again with me, Mirko, Shafin, and Arashi. And of course, MPL Indonesia Season 13 is powered by Munton. Covered and partner PBSE, presented by official tournament smartphone Samsung Galaxy, official e-wallet GoPay, official destination gaming and esports Kidia, and also official gold partner UBS Gold. Our partner in esports Campina, Dunia Games, GamesMax, Oraimo, and Telkomsel, our supplier in the Mart, Point Coffee, Neo QLED, Supersmart TV Plus Saturdays, and our friend new partner Jack Pro. This is a big day. A day where two teams will have their fate decided. One team will have their foot in MSC in Riyadh in the next big tournament upcoming, and the other team will fall today.
The results
of yesterday's very dramatic matches, even finding Bigetron Alpha #1 in the regular season standings, now having to fight for their lives. Elimination match for the boys, man, against Geek Fam. For the longest time, everyone was supporting Bigetron, was saying, it's a done deal. We have to worry about the grand finals. That's all it's about. But now a lot of those fans are seemingly a bit nervous. You know, one of them we were seeing quite recently. But for the Geek community, it must be a great day, Shevin. So, I mean, it must be great to be in your shoes for today.
Oh, for sure. I'm looking forward to the result as we look at the playoffs bracket so far. In this season 13, FNOC defeated Geek Fam yesterday 3-2. BTR, unfortunately for Mirko, have fallen to EVOS 3-1. And they're gonna face off in this first match today, in this beautiful Friday. Now, Arashi, from the record, BTR has defeated Geek Fam in this season, in the regular season, 4-0. There's no games at all won by Geek Fam. But do you think that track record matters right now in the playoffs?
I think it definitely matters because it just shows again the statistics, right, and the history on how those teams have been able to perform. But with such a long break and with both teams pushed to the brink, to the limit in the previous matches, definitely there's going to be some holes in their games that both Geek Fam and Bigetron will be trying to observe yesterday's game. The fact that Bigetron has always won against Geek Fam quite decisively, there's an argument to be made that styles make matchups, right? Maybe, wow, against EVOS, it's a particularly bad matchup for Bigetron, but against Geek Fam, again, looking at the track record, who's to say that it's just a matchup type thing?
For sure, for sure. And speaking about styles, Rashi, there's two heroes that's been prolific for either teams. First of all, it's Mathilda for Key. I believe he's still standing at 100% win rate in 7 picks. Meanwhile, Geek Fam, they have a weapon of their own, Beloyski, with Halkert. Out of all the players in MPL Indonesia that uses Halkert roam, Beloyski is the only one that has achieved victory, and he is still 100%. So do you think there's going to be some respect being put on those heroes?
Definitely going to be some respect, but with how flexible teams have been here, not just Geek Fam and Bigetron, everyone else seems to be coming up with the pocket picks, with the pick that we weren't expecting in the regular season. But here, last season, sent home by Geek, will the robots get their revenge? This is a big more than just the match. If you look at the average damage taken, it really seems that for Key, he's a lot more active, a lot more frontlining. Whereas for Beloyski, we see him on these supportive, healing, utility, and of course assassin heroes. They don't really take damage. So in a way, that is something that maybe Bigetron can take advantage of. Force Beloyski to play something a bit more generic and limit that flexibility, that big brain aspect that Beloyski can bring for his team.
And yeah, we're going to take a look at two gold laners that's rising up the ranks, especially Eman, who is probably will win MVP in Season 13, but let's put that discussion aside. But Chidera, what do you think about this matchup, Arashi?
Both gold laners seem to have a different style. Eman seems a lot more adaptive, whereas Chidera this season seems to be very safe in the fights, but in the laning phase, he likes going aggressive. And what's important to note is that the signature picks, at least, right? The Moskov, the Harith, the Claude, both of these players can play those heroes at such a high level, and we've seen it again and again. So for today, at least, you have to take a look at the matchup for sure, and you have to wonder, right, for both these teams, who exactly are they going to be rushing to the goal lane to get their man ahead?
And yeah, brawling is something that Geek Fam, I would say, really likes to do. And I feel like I kind of reminded of Season 10, Season 11 Aura, when I look at Geek Fam, when they're bringing the Hellcurt, bringing those damaged roamer from Beloyski, and I believe he's in the roaming area. But we're gonna take a look at the second leg matchup between BTR versus Geek Fam, and I believe at that time we've been quite bamboozled because I believe there was like 2 Estus picks against 2 times Fredrin and Harith pick. I want to ask you, Mirko, do you think that's gonna happen again? Will there be more respect this time for Eman and also Ken with the Fredrin?
Through in the regular season, it looked like Geek Fam were a bit shaky at the start of the season. Even towards the second leg, it just feels like they were still trying to experiment with their drafts against the Estes pick that you mentioned, leaving the Harith open. But in the playoffs, it seems they're done with experimenting. They're done leaving these big picks over, and they have been the ones to capitalize on that, right? Against RQ, forcing the 3 bans on Skylar, picking up a meta pick in the Harith, and winning that matchup for Chidera. Chidera's been
a big part of their success in the early game, which is strange because usually we expect Chidera to be the carry in the late game. Meanwhile, for Aman, it's been different for. This is the opposite, I think, feeling that Bigetron Alpha are feeling now in the playoffs. In the regular season, they were the ones going for the meta picks. They were the ones going for the prio picks. And now it feels like they're going back. They're stepping back a little bit, leaving the Hereth open yesterday, going for comfort over prio like the Franco with the Natan as well, and losing out on the early game up against Evo's Glory. So definitely a lot of things need to be done for BTR. Geek Fam, though, keep doing what they're doing. Because against Onyx yesterday, Fnatic Onyx, they were great. I didn't expect Geek Fam to pull off that kind of fight.
Oh, for sure. Even me as a, I don't want to say it, but you know what? I'm a Geek fan.
Yep.
But I didn't really expect them to actually win out in the first 3 games. It was 2-1. I was kind of expecting them to go 3-1, especially when they picked the Fanny. But let's put that aside. We're going to see the lineup for today's matchup. It's still Chidera in the gold lane, Beloyski on the roam, a boy in the mid lane, Ray on the jungler, and also Luke standing strong on the XP lane, and also BTR, Lord Gem is still on the bench. Soritzo on the XP, Super Ken on the jungle, Moreno, Key, and Emma. So still the same, no substitution just yet. But do you think there is going to be a possibility of that happening in the middle of the match?
Well, never say never, but we'll have to wait and see.
An elimination bout. One team will go home. Will it be revenge for Bigetron Alpha, sending their bitter rivals who sent them home just last season? Or will it be repeats for the Geeks, who were able to execute the Terminators in the lower bracket finals previously? Welcome the 2 teams. It's Bigetron Alpha and Geek Fam.
Go big or go home. It's now or never, both of these teams. If you lose, you in MSC anymore. In Riyadh, the first time it's ever been held outside of Southeast Asia. The stakes are higher than ever, and they're looking to snatch the W's.
Dare I say, go big or go geek. Today, we have to see who comes out on top, and of course, it begins here. Bluffsy and Keskute with Ragebow and Wura, with our Marshal Dainang officially letting them clash, at least physically, before the mental confrontation in the drafting phase. What kind of signature picks are we gonna see? Are there anything left when both Bigetron and Geek Fam fought a massive struggle just yesterday to be forced down after using a lot of their strategies? Will there be anything left? Can they even afford to keep anything left in the pocket?
And now, all the strats, all of those pocket picks, looks like they're going to bring it up in this game as we take a look at some of the stats from the regular season, most big and banned heroes, and also some win rates, hero pool. Rashi, what's your takeaway here?
Well, we spoke about this yesterday, especially for Bigetron, but their blue side win rate is just so much higher than the red side win rate. Yesterday, we saw that they actually got a defeat on the blue side as well. And if you look at the most picks, it seems a bit weird because in the whole regular season, it's all about these junglers, the Barats, the Fredrins, have always been so much more prio. But in the playoffs, we're seeing a bit of a shift. Even a lot of gold laners and a lot of roaming potential heroes as well. Depending on the matchup, of course, if you look at the most banned by opponent, I think that X-Borg really stands out for the side of Geek Fam. Luke is just notorious when you give him a hero that can do some damage. Like we talked about earlier with Beloyski's statistics, if they can kind of force Geek Fam to show at least who is going to be the main engage tool, who is going to be the utility all the way in the early phase of the drafting phase, that could be a way for Bigetron to force Geek to a more readable drafting phase. But for Geek Fam, if they're going against Bigetron, I think first the gold lane matchup becomes that much more important. But I think right now, not just for Geek Fam against Bigetron, but for any team, that global presence, we're seeing it being neglected a bit more. Some teams are even willing to let it go and go up against it without trading, let's say, a chip for the Loyi or the Loyi for the chip. That is something that I think they have to really think about carefully, because without a proper idea, a proper game plan, you can't just get a huge advantage any longer, only by relying on having that global presence.
And we saw it yesterday. I mean, Evo's Glory were able to counter the chip given to Bigetron Alpha. Chip has been one of, I think, 100% contested, either banned or picked probably the most prio hero right now after the patch, after that shield change now when you use the shortcut. But EVOs were able to beat Bigetron Alpha at that teleportation game. They were able to out-macro a team with that much global presence, and they were able to read the robots out. We can see both the Biget Troopers and the Geek Fam unity here marching into the Jakarta International Velodrome. And for you guys back at home, you guys can join us here as well in the Jakarta International Velodrome, whether it be to walk in the stadium here, to watch it live, or to join the watch party outside, because Land of Fun outside, where there's a couple of, different events you can attend, it's free of charge outside.
Oh man, look at that. Some of the savages that has been secured in multiple leagues. Mobazane, Eman, Bandicutie, and Hiko. Now, I think you know Gold Lane the most, Mirko, and you've seen how Hiko perform in Team Spirit. What do you see something that's different from any other in this, compared to the other Gold Laners in other regions from Hiko?
I'm actually really surprised with Hiko, dude. Hiko has been phenomenal. I've been watching, Team Spirit matches, Team Spirit games, even though no watch parties, just watching myself.
Yep.
But Hiko's mechanics are top-notch. You would expect this from a Southeast Asian player, right? But this time it just feels like the West is catching up, and Hiko is definitely one of those bright stars in the gold lane.
But going back to this match, he's the victory by the Samsung Galaxy S24 series for Geek Fam. Back to the regular season, play risky, but use those calculations. It always seems like Geek Fam are scrambling to go for something crazy, but they have to try and make sure that they do get the right ways to actually play around. We've seen a big priority, a big emphasis in kiting, right? In the distance management. With all the goal-inners just doing so much damage, it's no longer about tanking that damage, because the frontliners are no longer that tanky. Because with that tankiness comes the lack of playmaking tools and damage. So now teams are using that mobility to just go in and out. We're seeing brute force breast splits just focus, prioritize to be built so early on so that teams can just make sure that the goal laners technically have to go into the danger zone or risk not doing damage at all in these big fights.
I'm actually quite surprised that we've talked about kiting, right? It's something that's very important in this playoffs, and one of the heroes that's incredible at kiting and also gives a lot of utility on a team fight is Raphael, and I believe we haven't seen that at all. I believe we saw that in MPL MY at least once, right? And I feel like it's just something that's not really explored in Indonesia. What do you think?
I don't know. I think Raphael is a bit iffy right now, right? I mean, when you are going for back and forth team fights, it makes sense for you to go for the Raphaela. But I don't know, very easily bursted and locked down, I think, is the main problem for the Raphaela.
I think in theory, there should be situations where the Raphaela can really help out, but again, it just hasn't been tried out, and there isn't that many fights with Angela, something against the Mathilda that brings more flexibility. I think that's the main issue here. Mathilda, for instance, can engage, can kite back, can give that sustainability, and can do some kind of damage. Whereas for the Raphaela, you're kind of stuck being almost only utility. Even if you want to engage, you're forced to use a battle spell. So it's a whole different flexibility, and if you use it too early, if you show it too early, then you're susceptible just getting hard countered. So let's see how this drafting phase goes.
Mathilda already banned, and also Coach Blavsy securing that Harith pick, or like Harith ban for Eman, and also securing this global presence.
I might not be a lighted man, but I do know my trade.
Moskov and Luoyi leading the charge, as always.
But I do have to say, though, for Bigetron Alpha at least, right? The Helker ban, the Ruby ban, and then the Novaria. Those are the three picks that were able to grant them so much success against against Fnatic Onyx, and also in their first match against RRQ. He's a great Luoyi, but it seems like when he's on Luoyi, he's a bit more vulnerable to these catches. He performs better on heroes with amazing mobility. Valentina, Novaria. So you put him on a hero like the Luoyi that is a bit more vulnerable, and he can get caught, and I think that's what Bigetron Alpha want to capitalize on.
That's a fair point, because if you look at a boy's hero pool for the longest time, he's been notorious for the Faramis, for the Novaria, and they can both go through walls.
And the Valentina.
And the Valentina technically can dash through as well. So that is something that he definitely wants to have, especially against a team like Bigetron with quite the dangerous roamer. He's not used to just staying back there and just be that artillery. We'll have to wait and see, though, with the trades in the global pressure from the Luoyi and the Chip. We've seen the Chip being able to be used more flexibly, but that kind of damage that the Luoyi can bring to the fight, we'll have to see what Bigetron will try and put up against that in the mid lane.
Okay, 2 frontliners from Bigetron Alpha. They should ban the export here, unless they want to just bait it out for Luke. I don't know why he would do that, but that's an option. So what do you think right now is the game plan in this second baiting phase?
Plan right here for Bigetron is definitely to try and look more towards the EXP lane. Right, they have a chance to go for the flex actually if they really want to. And for Geek Fam, that mid lane presence, you know, we just saw the Sicilian, and a lot of people think it's actually really good yesterday. But of course, it does, in theory, take some more time to ramp up. And we have talked endlessly about that early game priority, the early game aggression that's required to really get a grip on the control over the map in the early game.
I think he's also banned from Coach Bilovsky, so they're still respecting the fact that Ken is still one of the prime assassin in the MPL Indonesia, but we haven't really seen that at all from him. Certainly, it's something that can be bring up, but I don't think so in this case. It's a bit too risky. Geek Fam pulled it off in the first game, I believe, against RRQ, but other than that, it just doesn't really have that success, especially in this kind of games. Oh. Speaking of success,
yeah, Luke was 4-8 and he got MVP, player of the game yesterday. In any normal game, you would expect, what? Why would you give the MVP to a 4-8 Masha? But then you watch the game, and I think for Luke, the biggest criticism towards Luke for the most part in the regular season for his entire career has been he dies so much. But that's just Geek style. Luke and Beloy want to die to provide space to the team. And there's no better pick than the Masha, technically, if you want to do that, if you just want to create space for your backline. So this is a very, very scary dive comp that Geek Fam have for themselves. Plus so much global presence. Loyi, Moskov. Man, what do Bigetron retaliate with?
Only the Valentina very early on, and a Chi-Chi to try and match that long trade in the EXP lane. A big factor though, Mirko, we were talking about it yesterday, was that against the Masha, Onyx didn't have a hero that can build that Wind of Nature to really stave off the initial huge chunk of burst that the Masha can provide. Now Bigetron have a carry, and they have a lot of tools here to really stop the Masha from just going in undeterred.
We have an NACD data here. Carry was the most picked hero in NACD Spring 2024 regular season. 35 picks, 50% win rate, or like 48.57. 14 picks on the blue side with 64% win rate. So pretty good on the blue side, but not so much on the red side. In this case though, there's still a lot of threat for the carry, especially a hero that doesn't really have a lot of range. Against a Luoyi, you have a lot of trouble to bypass, and oh man. Look at that, Kaja, a debut for Poloski in this playoffs. With a lot of damage coming in from Luke, I think this might be something that they can pull off.
It's quite dangerous for the side of Bigetron. A lot of crowd control. Anyone getting hit by the Divine Judgments can be followed up by the taunt, by the passive of the Loyi, by the stun, the pin from the Moskov as well. And if you talk about damage, is there enough to really burst someone down after, in the middle during the duration of the Divine Judgment? More than enough, technically, especially the longer the game goes. So for Bigetron, they have to pick and choose their engagements right here, because especially that Baratz is looking very vulnerable. If they're trying to maneuver around back and forth, he will be left behind without any support maneuver-wise, like with a Mathilda or a Rafaela.
The first step is decided now. If they lose in this match, it's all over. No more MSC. No more chance to go to Riyadh. Stakes are higher than ever. But this is the time for game number 1 of Bigetron Alpha versus Geek Fam.
A deathly combination, the Loyi and the Kaja. For the man we know for his Kajas, Beloyski. Definitely going to be very, very scary on the Divine Judgment. I think in the regular season, we can draw parallels to how Yehezkiel and Yawi are used to playing this Loyi Kaja combo. You get so many ways of creativity to flank with the Loyi diversion to send that Kaja.
And here you're seeing that underrated element from the chip. The global pressure is great, the crowd control is great, but the early game pressure though, whoa, so Rizzo!
Forcing out a flicker early on.
Already a burn to the flicker, and Sorizo still has that sentry to get away. Very, very aggressive BTR just invading the jungles.
That's what you want to do on the Baratz, and that's exactly what they're able to get. Mid control, even the XP, the Masha, struggling a bit against that CC early. Not level 4 just yet. Superken wants to go for more. Oh. Pulls Ray back. Moreno's there to follow it up. Ray still able to sustain for a bit, but Chorizo is rotating as well. Ray gonna be first blood. Chorizo takes the first kill.
Already, Rashi, you can see the downside of picking a Masha in this early game.
Well, there's that, but there's also the spammable nature of the heroes of Bigetron. I was talking earlier about this chip and how often he can just spam out this skill that does damage and shields himself as well. In that fight, you can see that everyone, including Superken, have just so much more spells available, so much shorter cooldowns compared to the members of Geek Fam, and that's how they were able to just be forced, bullet away. Superken now trying to go for an invade. Ray, they're gonna be forced to try and go for something.
Retribution though, used up by Superken. He's a level ahead and he has no interest on the turtle so far. He's actually staying around, going to the mid lane now. But then now rotating finally to the turtle.
And we finally see the prime example of why PTR was so good in the regular season, just choking everyone on the opposing side. They know that they have the early game advantage, and right away capitalize on that. Perfect objectives, no contest whatsoever. Ray has been having a hard time in this match.
Waloyski, no flicker still, and Chorizo want to utilize this lane prio. Bigetron Alpha in the enemy jungle, just conquering, not letting Ray get farm, trying to take everything, even the orange buff now. Waloyski gonna be stunned up by Kiesel, able to dash out to safety. Superken's retry is back up, and they will be able to steal this orange buff with no contest.
Without a Divine Judgment, there's no way for Geek to really threaten anything, any kind of pick-off right there. And again, the tempo here from Bigetron is so fast, so oppressive. And this is before the chip's portal is even in the picture. This is gonna get even worse the longer the game goes, as we take a look at the talent prediction by the Samsung Galaxy series. Bit of banter here from the Indonesian desk.
Bit of banter from us, 3-0.
You said 5-0. I know your prediction.
I was kind of disappointed they didn't put it 5-0.
Diversion. Oh, just to the bottom lane. Oh, we pull him on. Straight with a Divine Judgment. Waloyski goes, and that flicker too. 1-1 on the board.
Gotta be a bit more careful next time. Amon definitely overstaying his welcome. He has to count the possibility of diversion coming out of nowhere with the global presence.
Fortunately for him, the wave is pushing in his direction, so he will be trying to just be annoying right here with Superken. But Eman himself, I guess he felt a bit more comfortable, a bit more safe, because he went for the tenacity and the firmness, but now Superken already doing Superken things.
Stealing it away. Ray tried to outsmart Superken or out-retry him. Retrying early, but it only enables Superken with that advantage to keep that advantage going. Now, 3 levels ahead of Ray.
How do you solve this, Arashi? The fact that Faraz just coming out of nowhere in every part of jungle from Ray, and you don't really have enough resources in this early of a game to pretty much punish that.
It's just the difference in the roam presence. The Kaja, of course, can do some damage, can provide some utility, but the chip early game fights. I think if Geek can stall the game a bit longer, and we know how terrifying the can be, but look at Key!
Shortcut on. Waloyski can't go for the Divine Judgment. Terrified down Moreno! Steals the Divine Judgment away to pull Chadera. And Aman picks up a double kill. Superken, a missed Detana's welcome, but he's done the job zoning a boy and Ray Now trying to zone Ray from this turret for a possible turret take. Look at Luke though, instantly shoving up top, trying to get a trade as well. Ray, I don't think he'll be able to really look for that bait for that Spear of Destruction, but they were able to defend that turret.
Extremely strategic, extremely robotic the way they execute these team fights. They know their strength and they play it to their favor. Bigetron Alpha, they know. They want to get their revenge after what happened in the last season's playoffs.
They're trying to make sure that they have full control right here. Oh, diversion though. Spotted.
Oh my god.
Flicker Divine Judgment. Baloyski finds Moreno. A bit of revenge for stealing his Divine Judgment earlier.
It looks quite bad when Ken is on the bush, but it's Baloyski, man. He knows where everyone is. And right away flickers towards the preferred target.
But look at the result though. It was a pick-off by Geek Fam, but they lose 2 turrets in the process. We talk about tempo, it's not only about fights, it's also about the lanes and how far and how fast they're pushing. The control is very much in the hands of Bigetron, and you can see an inkling of what they're trying to do. They won't be going to invade for the jungle of Ray again just yet. They're looking at towards the mid lane right here, and they're putting a lot of presence, a lot of emphasis in trying to protect Eman right here. This is where in the mid game, with some items, this carry can do a lot of damage. Key is just making sure that no diversion, crazy play will happen for now.
Now they're just waiting for the power spike, I believe, from Luke, because so far he's just nowhere to be seen in every team fight. He hasn't died yet, but Eman,
Diversion into the bottom lane. The shortcut can be placed as well, but Eman will lose his life. Now Moreno joins in the fray. Chorizo trying to look for some damage. Super Ken going back as well. Chorizo finding Baloy. Luke chasing down Key, who is concealed. The flicker as well, and a thunderclap with the Spear of Destruction finds its mark. Luke now going to be poked down by Chorizo as he pops into Vengeance to deny any possible further trades from Chadera. 2 for 2.
That's unfortunate for Eman. Going into that bush, that faithful bush, as the diversion comes in.
What do we call that bush?
What do we call that bush, Mirko?
The Kumar bush.
The Kumar bush. Man, Key tried his best to try and follow up, to try and go for a knock-up to save Eman, but it just wasn't enough. But it's a great response from Bigetron to at least equalize. But the fact that they lost their gold laner puts Bigetron just a little bit in a setback. But considering the full control, doesn't matter.
Chadera not walking into a bush, but almost walking to his demise. Chorizo pulled down by Baloy. With a Divine Judgment, no Vengeance to be used. It's a big shutdown, a bounty for a boy.
Oh, finally something to work with. Geek Fam finding a kill from the engage from Bigetron Alpha, but Arashi so far, 3 objectives. We don't see this very often. 3 no contests from Geek Fam on the Turtles.
I mean, can you blame them with how Bigetron is playing? They can still do the same exact thing continuously until Chadera starts ramping up in damage, because he needs to be able to actually shred through Super Can. That's a very early Winter Truncheon from Moreno though, hinting at maybe an attempt at making a play. But for now, Bigetron, they have to just be careful with their positioning and the formation, because the Super Can is in the front. Look at this, reading armor, along with the blade armor already. He can just stand there and tank up a lot of damage. Now, diversion though. Spotted out.
Yep. A lot of respect for Luke and also Chadera.
Boy still has that flicker. He did bait out the CC ult though.
Yeah, 2 blade armors from Bigetron Alpha, trying to counter those basic attacks coming in from Geek Fam. And also, I believe Eman is on his way towards Wind of Nature. It's gonna be harder for Chadera and Luke, especially if you're gonna go all in on these heroes. More wall to bypass, more wall to be jumped on. Meanwhile,
diversion and the conceal. Baloyski has the flicker, goes in. Winner truncheon by Moreno, and he flickers out to safety. Now it's gonna be Key with a re-engage, but Ray stops him in his tracks. Meanwhile, the back, Luke jumping in with a thunderclap. Ray finding Key. Death to his welcome. Eman versus the world with Super Ken. Baloyski still gonna be able to survive, and Ray finds an Appraiser's Wrath. Eman cannot deal with him, and it's a win for Geek Fam. It's a 3-4-1.
A battle of isolation, Arashi. Luke just doing work in the backline. Meanwhile, Ken, he can't really do anything. He has no damage. He has no business to be there when there's no follow-up whatsoever.
It was looking quite okay with Ken being backed up by Eman, but unfortunately, Eman trying to hit over the wall with a short range on the carry. And of course, the Winter Truncheon from Moreno, expecting a play, trying to deny it, but almost like overthinking it, outplaying himself in that engagement. With the Lord up though, immediately Bigetron, they're the ones pulling the trigger, trying to initiate this Lord dance. Geek Fam, they spotted out though, and now this is the Lord dance that Geek Fam is just notorious for doing.
Uh-oh. In the back, there's a flank by Key. He gets suppressed. The Divine Judgment is used up, and now Detsun is welcome, finding Ray. Iman picks it up. Now a 3-man stun as they get tied up as well, but Chidera is still free hitting. Meanwhile, Iman doing the same thing, gets caught in the dispersion and the rotation. A boy cannot follow through. Bigetron will be happy with that trade. A Lord, another diversion. Though Moreno steals the Divine Judgment, not able to use it. Gets zoned away, and it's Geek Fam who are on the chase. Finds a tier 1 in the mid lane.
The hardest part of playing against a Luo Yi, you gotta stay on your toes for those diversion plays out of nowhere.
This is the tough part about Bigetron's composition right now. Earlier, they were able to just send Super Ken in the front, let him tank everything, and let Key to be a lot more active around the map. Now with the Lords coming up, these objectives that can't be ignored, you're seeing that Super Ken has to stay near the Lord, and Key is the one face checking. But now look at that, Geek Fam.
Going on to Veloci with a stun as well. No shortcut yet. A boy gets pulled back. No flicker right into Detsuna's mouth. Iman still able to kite back now. Luke with a thunderclap only onto Super Ken. But the Divine Judgment used up as well, and Iman is still free hitting. Geek Fam forced back. The Lord still marching down in the bottom lane. Bigetron Alpha now trying to get more value with that neutral objective.
3-item power spike for Chidera though. The fact that the Divine Judgment was available for Moreno and he wasn't able to use it says a lot, but now going for the turret still. Bigetron trying to push the aggression, knowing that a boy won't be up, the main wave control tool.
And now Beloyski's the one that gets pulled back by the Divine Judgment. Ray tries to stop that from happening. Chidera though, doing a good job at clearing and also dealing damage in the back. He spots out the diversion, but Iman still will be thunderclap. Luke with a flicker, and now one last scratch. Moreno running for the hills, trying to deal damage, pops into Winter Truncheon, but gets recalled on and sliced down by Ray.
Mai Shiranui popping off in MPL Indonesia Season 13. Oh man, what a play from Luke, what a chase, and right now it's 4v1. They can capitalize this really, really easily, getting those turrets. But Arashi, I want to ask you, it was like 2k gold lead for Bigetron Alpha. What do you think made Geek Fam so comfortable, so confident in that team fight? They want to go for it every time.
The fact that there's no flank potential, there's no pickoff enabled by the chip, and the fact that they have a Luo Yi and a Moskov, that is a lot of damage. Let's take a look at the replay presented by our official tournament smartphone, the Samsung Galaxy series. It began with this play onto Beloyski, but it's a roamer. And in the meantime, look at Iman. He wasn't hit at all here. It's all residual damage from Chidera, and there comes the flank. We talked about flanking being a big portion of the success here. For Bigetron, they're the ones being flanked instead. And having a carry, having Iman there, matching up against Luke on the Masha. We're seeing again that this Masha is so oppressive. He already has one BOD. We'll have to see if he really has the other. He went for the Malefic Roar even. He's trying to shred down everyone. It's not just the squishies, man. Even the tankier members like Super Ken were deleted earlier.
Powerful Mai.
Yep.
Two big items.
For sure.
Massive items.
Massive.
Goni would say intense items.
Oh, it's a weird word to use.
It's classic Goni.
Okay, but right now, a trouble from Bigetron Alpha's composition, especially, I think one of the most underrated part of Moskov is the fact that that penetration from the basic attack, that it's not really offered from Eman. He's like a one-target hero as a carry, and you get man-to-man by Mai? Like, what are you supposed to do at a time?
It's tough, man. You have to rely on the Wind of Nature timing, but Chidera has a Wind of Nature as well. Cerezo's got to respect this. Beloy has the flicker, and is already posturing up. Meanwhile, Key in the bottom lane just trying to get that map pressure. They do have that still, technically. But Geek Fam can technically also parallel and mirror that map pressure play with a Spear of Destruction. And Luo Yi jumps in now with a shortcut plays down as well. They go on to Ray, but Moreno is going to be caught under clap used up, and Iman secures the Lord. Now Divine Judgment and lock Key down with Bigetron Alpha. They still want to fight this. Key with Immortality pop. Luke picks up the kill. The portal's still there. The diversion into the back line, and Cerezo's going to be melted down. But they're able to pick up the portal, and Iman is left alone, all alone in the mid lane. He has been isolated, and now Luke on the Masha assassinates him.
Once again, the overextension, they definitely overstaying their welcome. They knew that Key he can't be safe. Why are they staying?
They're just forced to do so, and Luke goes in immediately.
So with one more HP bar, Moreno gets a Terrify diversion as well. Geek Fam are dealing with the Lord, and this Lord advantage might as well be Geek Fam's.
Extra gold, I'll take it.
It's great for Bigetron to take that Lord out of the picture. So now, during these precious seconds without a neutral objective that Geek Fam can just play around, this is where Bigetron can be a bit creative. But without turrets left right now, technically, they're always wondering when that next diversion is gonna show up. Trying to go for some farm as of right now, but this is a big problem. It almost seems like Chidera on the Moskov is out-damaging Eman. Not just in the AoE department, but even in the single target department. Even though technically on paper, they are at the same item power spike point, Chidera is just getting a lot more value from the Moskov. Again, we talked about flexibility in the roaming position. In the gold is the same exact situation. Although for Supercan, he went for the Sky Guardian helmet that helps him whenever they are just dancing on the Lord to take some of that chip damage, some of that poke to back off. But now with the Lightning Truncheon, I think a boy is intending to go for something massive here. If he can go and land a combo onto Eman, there will be a lot of damage that he cannot ignore, and he has no protection from. Only the Rose Gold Meteor now.
Oh my goodness.
So the bush down, all out fire, able to find a Divine Judge, but
Oh my God!
the damage overloads Bigetron Alpha! The system is offline! The Geeks have decoded the robots!
That was 0 to 100. What an escalation right now. They're forced to make a Hail Mary play here.
What? Eman goes in onto a boy, not even able to find it. Now Key as well, with a desperate attempt at an assassination. The shortcut does nothing, but it will bring Geek Fam into that shortcut to take game 1.
Geek Fam are battle tested. It doesn't matter if they hold the early game so dominant. Bigetron Alpha just invading all the jungles from Geek Fam. But right away, when Luke is online, the whole Geek Fam is online, and the system is offline.
What a crazy turn of events. It was looking so good, but we're seeing this as a pattern. A lot of teams can get that control, can get that advantage in the early game. But that mid to late game, so many teams in the playoffs right now have the discipline, have the presence of mind to not lose their cool and mount an insane comeback. Geek Fam has showed that yet again. Now Bigetron, the first in the regular seasons, on the back foot.
About to be eliminated, on the brink of elimination. 1-0 start to the Geeks. And Bigetron Alpha, you said something about Geek earlier. You said their mental fortitude to be able to mount a comeback up, to be able to stay, weather that storm in the early game. But where was that for Bigetron Alpha? Where was that mental?
Once again, that might be the same story over and over again. Bigetron Alpha just somehow crumbles when it matters the most. Over the few seasons of MPL, when they got to playoffs, that regular season dominance somehow just can't be replicated. Game highlight, targeting well from Luke brings Geek's attempt to avenge BTR in game 1 to naught.
Geek Fam, man. Luke, we talked about how this guy likes to be aggressive. Mai is just such a great fit for him, and he just knows exactly how to be annoying. On the X-Broke, the last insanity is to zone everyone away. On the Masha, not much different. That last sequence was just insane. We saw that Bigetron spotted the diversion. It seems like they were setting up for a play, but they got completely ran over.
They stood in that diversion. They knew about it, right? They thought it was going to be a fake. Turns out they took it full force. 5 members took the diversion. It was an all-in gamble, and they won it.
It's the mental game, man. They didn't expect it. That's why they went for it. Oh my God, that was, you know, without exaggeration, that was one of the play of tournament so far. That diversion in the late game. Come on, man. Really?
Procon play of the tournament so far?
So far, one off.
One off.
The play of the tournament is definitely Dreams' implosion for me.
Okay. The 4-man yesterday.
Yep.
Also onto Bigetron?
Yeah.
So Bigetron are always participating in the best plays of the tournament so far, but not on the doing end.
On the receiving end.
Man, it's almost like there's a mind game here from Geek Fam, right? They show the diversion, and then sometimes they don't go for it, but sometimes when you least expect it, the whole team shows up. And man, take a look at the big man, Luke himself, MVP for this game. Two massive factors for Luke, man.
Two massive factors. And we didn't even get the second massive factor. Yeah, no BOD, no second BOD, and he already dealt that much damage. It was a Heptaseas, BOD, and Melfic Roar.
Look at
this time, he didn't need to die 8 times.
Yeah, look at the pose. He's ready to throw hands. That's why he's picking Mai over and over again. He knows he's gonna win.
And honestly, claps.
Just claps left and right. It almost feels like it's a difference in combo, right? For Geek fam, because a Leiden and Bigetron were able to actually still kind of equalize. But you can see already from this moment here, 6 minutes, 7 minutes in, Luke is already a massive problem, man. And of course, the Moskov global presence. Whenever there's a global presence in play, Geek fam are just so good at it. This was that Winter Truncheon from Moreno. Kind of anticipating a big engage. Then Key was the one pulled in. And even then, with everything spent, you see this split 2v4 from both these teams. Unfortunately, Superken and Eman. I was so curious about this, man. Usually, you feel like the carry, usually, if he's just full on hitting on one target, they can secure the target.
Look at that, just poetry in motion. And I feel like there's also some kind of disrespect towards the potential of Chitera as a Moskov. A lot of times, when they're team fighting, Bigetron Alpha, they clump up, and that allows Moskov to penetrate even the backline with that passive. And also, it's a difference of using the teleports. I think Apoy has been using this global presence much better than Key. A lot of times the portal is just very reckless, and some of the people that got into the portal also didn't really think it through that much when they're going in. I believe that last fight in the Lord Pit, Moreno was there between all 5 members of Geek fam.
There were a lot of hesitation, you know, and for all the members of Bigetron Alpha. Yeah, you're right. I mean, when he puts a shortcut, it almost seems like everybody's doubting the shortcut. They didn't want to take it instantly. But this is a big problem for Bigetron Alpha coming into game number 2 because they tried to put a boy on a pick that he's not comfortable on. It's the Loyi. He's not comfortable on that Loyi. I mean, compared to the Novaria, Valentina, and the Faramis. But he performed in this way. So at this point, how do you counter a boy? How do Bigetron counter a boy?
I mean, he has experience because he does play the Vexana quite often. In theory, it's the same thing. Big AoE, big damage, crowd control, also vulnerable with no maneuverability tools. But like I was saying, Ray went with the Antique Cuirass and the Brute Force Breastplate, so he didn't go for like a Blade Armor. And yet, if you look at the damage, I don't know, for Eman, for that carry in particular, it just seems so lackluster. And maybe that's because of the threats, right? He's just forced to deal with Luke, he's forced to deal with Chidera and Beloyski. Every one of them are just waiting around, trying to find an opportunity to just dash onto him and take him out. Looking at the post-game stats right here, only sandbag given to Superken. He was taking a lot of damage, but in the end there, the maneuverability. We talked about this, the kiting. For Bigetron Alpha, they just don't really have a way to keep chasing, to force Geek fam to a fight. Whereas for Geek fam, you saw that there are some moments where Bigetron were like, okay, time to bail. And Luke just ran in. Beloyski finds a way to go in. The Spear of Destruction allowed Chidera to also follow up on it. That is something that a lot of teams have been using to a great amount, but especially for Geek fam, they seem to really have this strategy nailed down.
And what I like the most about Geek fam is the fact that they're not really under pressure when they are down. As I said earlier, battle tested, they have this leadership that's led by Beloy, and they know they can win with it, with that composition. The trust towards each other, the trust of them still having a chance even though they are down 4 objectives in the first 4. That was like something else, man.
3,000 gold lead as well.
Losing in all the places and somehow still managed to get the W in the end is something to be, what's the word?
To be proud of.
Yeah.
To admire.
Admired, yeah.
Okay. I mean, to be fair, it's that Geek fam unity, right? The way that they are able to play together, trust in each other. But I think while we're talking about the Geek fam unity, we can also draw parallels, or actually the opposite, to Bigetron Alpha. Where was that unity for Bigetron Alpha? So much hesitation from when he pushed the shortcut, so many doubts, and it feels like where Geek fam, they all trust each other, Bigetron were just doubting each other every single moment in that game.
It really seems like after the initial, it's like they have a game plan, right? But after the initial beginning, the invades, the first bloods, that mid-game, when things are a bit more fluid, when things are a bit more dynamic, and you have to kind of adapt on the fly, it seems they're just a bit lost, right? In theory, it's supposed to be whoa, it's supposed to be key. Going for those pickoffs, having all the pressure, and Super Ken coming in for the invades, and that pressure all around the map was what allowed them to take so many turrets. But afterwards, after the turrets were down, especially when the Lords were up, we already mentioned that this is a strong suit of Geek Fam, the Lord dance, the Lord fight situation. But man, you're seeing it even better here, because for Bigetron, it seems that they're extra lost when the Lord is in the situation.
And also, I think there's a problem that we need to address, but we're going to address it after this because it's something that needs to be discussed. We're going to take it to our host, Bude Clara Mungsar, and also Moko in a second.
Pun terjadi, namun pada akhirnya kemenangan telah didapatkan. Dan kalau kita melihat bahwa di MPL ini sendiri, dari pick-pickannya itu sangat menarik. Mereka bisa dibilang punya versatile hero yang sangat tinggi. Dari segi drafting phase-nya, kita bisa melihat bahwa kedua tim benar-benar harus menunjukkan yang terbaik dengan hero-hero yang mereka miliki. Dan Monica, hari ini kita akan terhubung juga dengan sahabat kita yang nan jauh di sana. Kalau kemarin udah ada dari Filipina, lalu ada North America juga, Kamboja. Sekarang kita mau terhubung sama siapa nih, Monica?
Dan RSGVH ada Light.
Oke, dan langsung saja kita akan ngobrol-ngobrol bersama satu roamer yang bisa dibilang punya banyak sekali title. Mari kita sambut bersama-sama, inilah dia Light dari RSG Philippines. Hello Light, how are you?
I'm fine, just practicing for ESL right now.
Wow, practicing, but I miss your long hair, Light.
Yeah, I miss it too. That's the time when I won championship. So I think I have to get back my long haircut.
Ini menarik ya. Kita tahu Light rambutnya panjang. Kali ini skin barunya Light. Tapi dia juga katanya kangen. Dan menarik pastinya Light, how do you see MPL ID this season?
For me, MPL ID is exciting. The fans are so hype. I really want to join soon in MPL ID, so I hope I get a chance to play in Indonesia.
Oh, ini menarik sekali ya. Yang mana ini Light ngomongnya katanya kayaknya menarik sekali nih, pengen main di MPL Indonesia.
Wah, we will welcoming you, of course. And Light, we want to show you something and we want to discuss about it because this is something that really matter for the MPL teams all around the world. Let's check it out. And ini adalah poster di mana kalau kita sadari di setiap region itu, kalau ngepicknya di Indonesia aja nih tendensinya untuk ngepick jungler hero di first pick pada saat regular season tuh sebanyak 57 kali. Sedangkan di Philippines, lalu ada Malaysia, lalu juga di NCT, itu mereka fokusnya ke roam hero for the first pick. So in other regions, we got roamer for the first pick. The priority is roamer hero, your hero.
Yeah.
But in Indonesia, I think it's different.
I think MPL Indonesia and Philippines are prioritizing the tank jungles so they can secure good early games. Other regions have their own meta, like picking roamer first and first pick, NA and Malaysia. So I think that's it. Yeah.
Wow, jadi katanya memang untuk first pick kalau Philippines dan Indonesia supaya bisa mungkin unggul di early game-nya ya, Bude?
Iya, dengan tank jungler dan di region lain terlihat berbeda. But you say that Indonesia and Philippines are quite similar with the tank jungler. But what is the biggest difference between Indonesian playstyle and Filipinos playstyle?
Right now, there's nothing much different because MPL PH and ID also play the same, except MPL IDs, still on the micro side, unlike Philippines focus on macros, objectives, like that. So
masih sama ya dengan pembahasan-pembahasan kita pernah bahas sebelumnya ini. Dari Light juga mengatakan bahwa Indonesia tuh fokusnya ke mikronya. Namun kalau di Philippines mereka lebih fokus dengan makronya, dengan objektifnya, dengan turretnya, pergerakan as a team.
Yes. Yes, but Light, your ex-teammate on RSGPH, it's Eman. He's playing right now. But do you miss him while playing on the MPL PH this season?
Of course, for me, Eman helped me a lot in macros on the team. So him transferring to another team is hard because I need to adjust my play style and also my teammate. Yeah, so I miss Eman.
Wah, jadi Light katanya rindu ya sama Eman, apalagi untuk bermain bareng. Karena memang kalau di MPL PH biasanya Eman ini support untuk bisa mendapatkan objektif bagi Light sendiri. Jadi memang katanya rindu main bareng.
Yes, but how do you see Eman in MPL ID? Of course for the playstyle and then the potential, because he just changed the teams right now in BTR. Probably compared to in RSGPH, how do you see him?
I think he's still improving, adjusting well with his teammates. In fact, his first season, then he gets the top 1 in regular season. So I hope he also get the MSC slot because we didn't have the chance to. We had the chance to get it, but we failed. So it's him now do his best, and I hope he secures the MSC slot.
Jadi katanya memang Eman kayaknya sedang beradaptasi juga dengan permainan di sini dan berharap tim Eman bisa mendapatkan secure tiket ke MSC 2024 kata Light nih. But Light, you're watching the performance of Eman while he's in the Bigetron Alpha. But how do you see Eman as a jungler? Could you compare like Eman with Kyrie on Onyx?
How I see Eman as a jungler? If we
As a
transfer
gold
his-
laner,
I
of
mean,
course.
sorry.
Kyrie
okay.
as a jungler,
Oh,
so the impact.
I think. Okay. Yeah, Eman is a big impact in BTR. He helps the team to and blend his playstyle in here in Philippines. So BTR also gain something from Eman, and I'm just happy that Eman is doing well with his team.
Wow, jadi memang memberikan impact juga ya. Kalau mungkin Kyrie memberikan impact sebagai jungler di Onyx.
completely focusing down one target. Usually we see players, whenever they see the carry and all the stars just start flying, they're like, oh, dang, I gotta get out of here. I gotta move, I gotta get some immunity, go for a winter truncheon or something, which is what Ray built, by the way. But in this game, we'd see less of that. There was almost no panic. It's like they knew, like, okay, keep throwing your stars, I'm gonna get you. So it's interesting to see if is it just the way it was played? Is it the composition, right? The lack of protection, like you mentioned, Mirko? Or is it actually just the carry no longer being as dangerous, especially with this meta where there's a lot of sustain, right?
I think it's just about the disconnect, honestly, right? I mean, when... Disconnect.
Okay, sorry.
But Ray, with the Appraiser's Wrath, he was able to sustain back up. But also, if you guys paid attention to that skirmish where we thought at least one member was going down. You know, when a carry targets one member, it's usually done. Usually that one guy gets picked off. The thing is, they were going back and forth. They were spacing when Eman was going for an attack. So he wasn't actually getting all these passives procced onto Ray. He was getting it on to the other member next to him. I forgot who it was. I think it might be a boy. But yeah, it was just back and forth, so he wasn't able to get these constant passive
Where there
procs.
is light,
And I think
there
that
are
this connection
also
condition
shadows.
has something to do with that global presence of Luo Yi. So I think I've banned from based on the sound, but we'll see in a second. Maybe if you want to just eliminate that global presence from Moskov, from Chip, from Luo Yi, Bigetron can play quote-unquote normally with Geek Fam and kind of win out on the team fights in the middle game and also in the late game.
We'll have to wait and see. And I'm really curious to see like what kind of strategies we can see here. Here's the drafting phase officially presented by our official tournament smartphone, Samsung Galaxy S24 series. And already the Moscow falling again in the hands of Geek Fam. But the Luo Yi, now in the hands of Bigetron, not a foolproof solution, but now a massive advantage in the maneuverability. If you thought that in the early game, Bigetron were outmaneuvering Geek Fam, they're gonna do so even more here with this Luo Yi advantage.
Now what's gonna be the answer for Coach Bluffsy? I think if you wanna deal with the Luo Yi, you have to have some kind of durability and also counter-engage potential. And I'm thinking something like... What?
Faramis?
Maybe, and there's no Valentina as well from Bigetron Alpha, unless they will play Rome. But it's still gonna be the Fasha. Maya making an appearance once again in this playoffs.
Wow, this Masha just seems to be that much prio. You know, we saw that a lot of people were respect banning the export against Luke. Maybe it's the Masha all along, unless Bigetron wants to literally fight the fire of the Masha with fire with the export. It gets banned away immediately though. Bigetron will not let that slide.
Seems like for Geek Fam, the answer to how they can sustain is, we'll just use Luke as the sacrifice.
Yeah.
As long as he can force Bigetron Alpha back, our backline will be good to go. This Moscow thrives in the chaos of these chaotic team fights that Geek Fam have been able to force on Bigetron Alpha. So for BTR, the main way right now is a pure front to back. For Geek Fam, it's a pure
chaos.
It's pure chaos. It's a brawl, literally a brawl.
Almost seems like for Geek Fam, if they can get a fight moving forward, if they're always the ones aggressing, they do really well, right? But when we see Geek Fam, if they go back and forth, by the way, if they're just kiting back and forth, that can work as well for Geek Fam. But I don't think I see Geek Fam do really well when they're the ones completely just steamroll, right? That is an approach that we haven't seen so far. But with the X-Borg and the Paquito ban away, there is certainly some kind of concern for that backline. From the looks of it, it might be the Vexana, if you think about it, with the Novaria and the Novaria mainly ban away already.
Question, Arashi, like, so obviously Masha is a problem for any backline that Bigetron Alpha is picking, but what do you think a gold laner that counter Masha the most, or like, it's not really threatened that much against a Masha? Or is there no one?
Oh man, I think that's a question better fitted for Mirko, a gold lane player who was playing the game during the age of Masha.
Yeah, the solution is not from the gold lane itself, just from the teammates that's trying to kite or like peel.
Weigh in on this, Mirko.
When the Masha was in the meta in Rome, and when I was playing gold lane up against Masha, I opted not to play gold lane. That's how unfun it is, right? I play the role that's fun. Jungle is so boring, but when a Masha's on the other side, hey, give me Fred, give me Berhat, give me Baksha, it's all good, especially when you get Faramis as well.
Yeah.
The Faramis was left open. We were talking about how the Faramis would be great and was left open through the second phase. No Valentina to counter it, and Bigetron Alpha will have to outlayer the HP and the damage from Geek Fam. They have so much consistent damage and burst. Oh, Geek Fam have such a scary draft right now.
Could it be a Minotaur though?
If time is
right,
a river,
crowd control, sustain as well. They upward in the time for some maneuverability.
Okay,
here comes wait, Esmeralda.
That's actually pretty good against Masha in lane, right, Chefin?
Yeah, in lane, yeah, but there's really no appeal, I guess, provided by the Masha. I feel like it would be better if they went for a Ruby instead. Oh, it's banned by them. Okay.
I guess the Aura technically can have crowd control, Barat and Loyi too. When it comes to a full-on damage output match though, it's looking more even, but this Natan just hasn't been working as well as this Moskov again and again. There's a chance that, like how Don was doing on the Esmeralda, the backline can be just zoned away so far away from the main fight that Bigetron can get a huge advantage. That's a big if though. Just showing up, Kaja carry was the thing, but now Kaja Moskov for Geek Fam has been absolutely devastating.
And now we turn it around. We were talking about how Boy has been placed on a hero that he's not comfortable with. I would say the same for Moreno. Moreno and a Boy, very similar players. They like to get their hands on these carry picks. And Novaria, the Valentina, even the Sicilian we saw yesterday. But when you put him on a pick like the Loyi, someone that's not really mobile, someone that has a very one-dimensional way to deal damage. And at least back in the regular season, we didn't see Moreno do that.
Yep, and still the same game plan for Geek Fam, overloading the Natan with the damage, with the engage coming in from Beloski and Luke. Let's see though if it's gonna come to fruition here in game number 2. Game that's gonna decide the momentum. Can it swing to BTR? Or will it go to Geek Fam even more? Let's see in the Land of Dawn for game 2 of Geek Fam versus BTR.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, off the bat, as always, keep your eyes on that mid lane with the Arlet and the Loyi. There's a lot of kill potential. Might just result in something of a first blood. Looking at the clear speed though, it's the age-old. It's so funny that we've seen so many developments, but now all roads lead back to the Barats and the Frederick.
Okay, let's see. Oh, already. So Rizzo is very aggressive with this Esmeralda, something that being provided, but this is gonna be XP laner.
It's kind of scary though this time around, right? The mid control, not the best for Bigetron. Alpha gets pulled back, has that skill 1.
Wow.
Is able to buy quite a bit of time to distract Ray.
Again, a ticking time bomb, Arashi. This time for both. They have a ton on Bigetron Alpha, but Geek Fam, they have a solution here in Luke. What do you think what's gonna happen in the late game if it's gonna go there?
In the late game, I mean, Luke, of course, will be an absolute menace to squishies and tanky heroes alike, but Soriza with the sustain has a chance of being at least that much more annoying to actually distract the rest of Geek Fam, right? We talk about kiting, and right now, for Bigetron, it's the same issue. There's no real kiting potential, so they're kind of doubling down on the attempt of just managing, just competing in damage output. And in theory, the Natan can outdamage the Moskov, especially with the true damage component later on with the Starlium, but we'll have to wait and see.
Oof. Whoa. Already very aggressive in the bottom lane. Ray, though, might be punishing.
Yup, good taunt on the knockup as well. Chidera should be able to find a Spear of Misery, and he gets it right as Key pops the Vengeance, so he gets pushed and shoved back to tier 1. First blood for the Moskov.
Assisting his own death, Key going in. Not really the best decision there, but what can you do?
It's a lot of damage. Placed down by Cerise onto a Boy. Super Ken rotating as well. A Boy does have the Purify, but Luke does not. Still able to evade from the missiles, and it's Moreno, Ken, and Cerise at level 4. Key, not level 4 just yet. Beloski has that Divine Judgment to lock him down. Vengeance and the stun onto Beloski. He still has a Divine Judgment once again, but Falling Star will be able to catch them. Dispersion and rotation enough to take him down, but a Thunderclap goes on to Cerezo, and Key wants to shove them and zone them away from this first turtle that should be claimed by Bigetron Alpha. Ooh, the Fraser's Wrath though. Key pops the Vengeance and gets slain by a Boy.
A bit unnecessary. 2 times Key have fallen down in this match. Gives 2 kills towards Geek Fam, but same story once again. BTR dominating on the objective fights.
2 kills for the neutral objective, considering the fact that it was a Barat.
Luke, 4 picks with Masha, 100%. Pretty much the same with Helkurt's Beloski, or Beloski's Helkurt. So there should be a proper respect being paid in the drafting phase, I feel like.
Oh, good retry. Oh, Divine Judgment! Baloy finds him even with the flicker. Iman cannot escape, and Key is caught all the way. Key out, not now.
But there, with the proactive moves right here, we saw that Bigetron, they're sending resources to the gold lane, but Geek fam are just so much cleaner with it, with the engage tools. But now Daytona's welcome.
Right onto a boy, no Netherrealm. He can't use it, not now.
Okay, even game right now, gold lead. Not even 100, and right now 200 for Bigetron Alpha. So anything can still happen in this match, in this game. The momentum can still swing towards Bigetron, especially with this kind of draft. If Eman gets the peel that he needs, the safety that he needs, he might be able to carry Bigetron Alpha to victory.
See the scouting here from Geek fam, just so much better. It's always like they have Beloyski as a vision tool, securing some kind of info every single time. And Chumi already used right here to try and burst the turtle down though. Bigetron, bold moves.
Goes straight for it, Ray! Tribulation! Ray comes up, steals it away. And now Spirit Destruction connects onto the back line. Chadera able to take it, but Key jumps on, and Divine Judgment to lock him down before he can even go for the final slash. But that's welcome. Catches on the Chadera. Cerezo in the midst of it all, dealing some damage, but it's not going to be enough to take anyone down. Chadera still spacing, still going out, but now finally gets caught up by Cerezo as Luke jumps in with a thunderclap onto him, but he's able to entropy just right away. Luke still chasing, but Loyski going to be chased down by Cerezo as well, but he's not able to fully get onto him. Meanwhile, thunderclap one onto Moreno. Luke very low and taken down by Super Ken.
What just happened? It looked real.
This time though, Iman was able. Assassination attempt from Luke. This time they're also able to take a base turret, but Geek fam find a momentum shift.
Not only getting a kill, but also eliminating the DPS from the fight. Luke is doing work at this time. Look at the items. Already BOD and Heptasis.
More importantly, Iman just finished the Holy Crystal, so both gold laners at a 3-item power spike. But you saw who was targeted in that fight. It was Moreno. Look at that version though. A bit of a deja vu situation, but Beloyski.
Oh wait! Flicker, no Divine Judgment. Might be a blunder. Divine Judgment defensively onto Key. Now he gets shredded down. That's his welcome. Able to find the Masha. Iman trying to do some damage right now, but it's not going to be enough. It's that's Chadera, who bats him down, and then Spirit of Destruction as well. Geek fam are utilizing this momentum to collapse on BTR.
Key's gotta cool his head down, man. So far, every time, just unnecessary vengeance over and over again into his death. And now Geek fam, this is gonna be a gold swing to their favor. They might be wait for this one.
3 seconds for the respawn. Luke is going for that thunderclap. You can see it in his eyes.
He wants it. He wants it. Base tower taken though in that whole sequence. It is on the side of the map where the Lord will be spawning, so Geek fam not really pressed just yet. But man, Bigetron took that fight under their turret with Beloyski seemingly making a blunder, and yet they did not come out on top. I wanted to see how Moreno got taken out, because he's a very important component right here. He needs to stay alive.
They can blitz this.
They can. With Chadera. It seems Bigetron Alpha are unaware of this Lord take.
What?
And Geek fam just get it. They sneak it under Bigetron Alpha. They did not react. They didn't go for anything. Diversion as well. And no one takes it.
I don't know what happened with Bigetron. When the mid game comes, when the late game comes, somehow they lose all their advantages.
Season 11 all over again.
Yeah, it's gone. I'm sorry, this might be a deja vu to Bigetron.
Bigetron. So many nicknames back in Season 11. PTSD for me, man. Bigetron, Bigetron, so many names.
Hey, this might be your fault too, man. You predicted 3-0 for PTR.
Hey, man, I thought it was going to be a mere blast.
Turns out it's just not that simple. Now with the Lord coming in, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. There's a lot of damage available for Bigetron to go for the clear. And Mon and Moreno can do great, Cerezo as well. I think it all comes down to if they can deny Beloyski making a play. He's looking for it right now, keeping your eyes on him.
Flicker, Divine Judgment finding Key. And Lord charges in now, Luke in the back line, but another realm as well. That's a turret taken down, Key as well. Another thunderclap into the back line, but look at him on, still free hitting. The Spurgeon rotation connecting Cerezo. Now a diversion. Oh! Luke thunderclap, one last hit him on! Is able to escape, and Cerezo gets rid of Luke. A mid lane base turret for 2 members.
Oh man. intense. And look at the highest damage dealt in that fight for Geek Fam. It ain't Chidera, man. It's Luke. That Masha was just absolutely menacing, forcing battle spells out there. But of course, fighting in the base, that's the most dangerous situation. Now with Aman picking up the Wind of Nature, things might look quite differently as the diversion comes in. Bigetron, they're trying to look for something here when Luke isn't available.
Whoa, concealed by Key, trying to look for a final slash, an angle to go for final slash, but Beloyski doing the same thing. A good dispersion to rotate, three-man final slash into the depth as well, coming on the Netherrealm HP. Superken losing immortality, and on the back still trying to cut away, but Superken is completely isolated, and Tadera will be able to melt him down. They're chasing a full chase. Ray with a taunt, with a knock-up as well. Another knock-up onto Cerezo, as Tadera jumps forward with the Abyss Walker, but Abyss Step, but the diversion will be used defensively to get them out of that chase.
Look at that Luke lurking in the shadows. It's not as brave as the engage earlier in the base, but he's trying to pick out his targets, and this time around, it's gotta be Eman, man. It's already late game. He has all the items, he has all the golds, already level 15. It's a threat to consider for Geek Fam, and I like the way Geek Fam played at a time.
There is Eman to consider, but there's also Moreno on the low Yi. He has the Wind of Truncheon, and Man has the Wind of Nature, so there are outplay tools available. But if Luke is able to just go on one of them, force the usage of the item, and go for the other, he can just very easily burn out two value items. As Geek Fam, look at this. They're the ones having control. Bigetron are confused. They're worried on where to go. They are concerned about another Lord Sneak. They should try and set up a trap or something, because they have to try and make a play, unless they want to just keep going and fight Geek Fam at their own game. This is where Geek Fam likes to be, the 5v5, all out straightforward.
If there's a Kumar bush, there's a Beloy bush. That there, near the purple buff. A flying is coming. A concealed play is coming.
Okay. Final slash onto nothing. Ray now. Surreal spots him in the back now. Beloyski finds a divine judgment onto Eman. And it's Luke, the two BBs. The big brain and the big boy collapses on the Bigetron Alpha. But Moreno able to find the shield now, taunted up. Moreno falling to avoid an Appraiser's Wrath and a Shadow Stampede to drag them back into the hands of the rest of Geek Fam. Only one member traded in, and it's a complete wipeout.
How many times you won this? Game number 2, Geek Fam. The mental fortitude, the absolute mastery of the late game. Beloy, the decision making, the concealed plays. Just incredible.
Phenomenal stuff from the two BBs. The big brain, the big boy, whoever it is, that was BBL and BBB. Rotating together, utilizing that Geek Fam unity to flank and to get the one man that they needed to get. They got him on, of all members.
It's just so insane the way It's just so insane the way It's just so insane the way boy.
And I turn out would say there's a mountain and there's a beach in these two games.
Yeah, it's a mountainside. It's like a lake.
It's prime real estate. That's what it is.
Prime real estate.
But what I'm worried about the most in game number 3 is for Bigetron Alpha is against EVOS, they let go of the Luoyi 3 times.
Yeah.
And right now, do they want to let go of the Masha 3 times? Is this gonna be the same story over and over again?
Oh, at this point, it just gets super hard to go and draft against Geek Fam as well, right? Because you want to get the chip away. You can't let that go. You want to deny the Lo Yi. Then the Masha shows up. You ban the Masha. One of those shows up.
Pick your poison.
Pick your poison. That's what Bigetron Alpha have to play with. And for Geek Fam, they are the poison. They are deadly this game. Slowly but surely creeping up and then coming back.
It's a great situation for Geek Fam because they've kind of expanded their hero pool. For the longest time, at least there are similar types of heroes, you know, but for Luke right now, you're just seeing a different variety. The Lapu Lapu we haven't seen in a while, but it's a whole different vibe compared to an X-Borg and a Masha. Now with so many different possibilities and options, it's almost like Bigetron will not be able to find something really that good without seeing initially what this man will be on. Player of the game, Big Boy Luke, presented by our official tournament smartphone on the Masha yet again, ever so slightly far from that second BOD, but that will be enough. Who would have thought that the Masha of all things just shows up? And not for everyone, it's just Geek Fam. Everyone else was using it in the roam position.
No one used it.
And this is just such a Geek Fam draft, right? In game number 2, it's literally Geek Fam. It's Beloy on a pickoff hero, the Kaja that we was known for season 10, season 11, season 12. It's Luke on a damage dealer that's kind of uncharacteristic, but he's made a name for himself on that pick. And then Chidera on a weak side laner and a Boy of Aramis. It's the Geek Fam draft.
Even Chidera on the very solid goal laner. And right here you can see when they're falling behind, it's just a bit difficult, but when they can just make sure that they can stand in the front, they have a front to back. Moreno and Iman, they're just outputting the damage again and again. The fights get closer and closer. The AoE, particularly I think for Moreno, is something that Geek Fam really weren't expecting. And here is that fight where you can see that Luke was just having a lot of attention given onto him, but on the other hand, Moreno yet again doing all the damage. Supercan, of course, securing the retribution. I think this is after this fight is where Geek Fam adjusted and they're like, okay, hang on a minute. This Moreno on this Lo Yi, it's a bit too dangerous. Here, there was that blunder. And I really thought that this was going to be a fight in favor of Bigetron, but with Key getting pulled in right here, with Moreno, as you can see, getting bursted down, already taken out, it's not the same situation any longer. That Lo Yi needs time to just proc those passives, to get those shieldings. And oh man, Key not landing the final slash, and Beloyski, look at that.
Beloy.
You just can't escape. Laser focus from the man to really find Iman despite all the attention, all the saving from his teammates. And Moreno can still do damage, but he cannot run fast enough, and they get overrun. That's the main pattern right here. Whenever Geek Fam is in the picture, they overrun their opponents again and again.
Did you see that Spear of Misery?
Yep.
The final one? Spear of Misery, Chorizo into the Appraiser's Wrath, bro. They're just in sync right now, Geek Fam.
It's like an alley up.
Yeah.
It's not really the cleanest victory
It's like a
either.
set and a spike. Shout out to the dudes who know about what I'm talking about.
I don't know. Volleyball?
Man,
Yeah.
yes.
That's a very general reference.
I mean, you know, the movie just came out, you know, that movie, so...
Get
kinda
with the
meta.
program,
What a
Shevin.
program,
What a
Shevin.
weeb.
You speak Japanese, man.
Nihongo dekimasen.
Hi, sukomare da.
It seems I am surrounded by people who are fluent in Japanese.
Japanese, small difference. This is a 17-minute game though, and you have to feel for Bigetron. There were some moments there where it really seemed like, oh, they're about to get it. But I think especially against Geek Fam, teams need to really start thinking about the later Lords. Because for Geek Fam, they're really comfortable defending in the base, and we've seen that a lot of teams, before getting the big Lord, right, the game-changing Lord, they're always so desperate to try and get a base turret, and Geek Fam, I don't think I've ever seen Geek Fam take a fight in their base and come out with a massive loss.
Yep.
If anything, it's always like a small victory. And that is something that's so dangerous and teams need to really start respecting. Because sometimes it's not necessary, right? The fact that Bigetron lost multiple members trying to get that base turret, that's great. But then in the next Lord, that goal difference has shrunk quite a bit.
It just seems like, I don't know what it is, right? But Bigetron Alpha, every time they have an advantage, it seems like they don't want to utilize that advantage. They want to keep on pushing, keep on fighting. They got a base turret up top. Yeah, they lost 2 members for it, but it's a base turret. They could play it with the waves and maybe look for another angle of attack. But then they got out-macroed by Geek Fam. They were overthinking with the low Yi diversion, and Geek Fam just snuck a Lord randomly. Not able to utilize that side lane pressure, and then just crumbling down when things get tough.
I'm sorry, that was unacceptable. The fact that you have 5 guys
I have to agree.
on a team and no one ever mentioned that the other team might be loading is just...
Yeah, they can even check with the diversion by
Exactly. I mean, they had the diversion too. I guess they were scared.
They can just cast it and use it to just scout out, you know? There were options available, but as Real Ice would say, like a thief in the night.
Like a thief in the night.
Geek Fam.
Oh, man.
The fact that they made the call too.
It's not even night.
Right?
Look at this, the sun is up, man.
So it's highway robbery.
It's just, yeah, daylight robbery.
You have to give credit to Geek Fam as well. They made that call, knowing that there's a diversion, knowing that there is Bigetron with all that mobility, all that danger. And you're like, you know what? What would they not expect? Let's go for the Lord right here.
Look at that jackpot as well for Chidera. It seems as everything is aligning for Geek Fam. 777, that's a lucky number.
Yeah.
Extremely lucky.
My God, Geek Fam. They're taking everything. The damage dealt though, still Moreno doing damage. He was doing a good job in this game.
Low Yi, man.
Executing people, but what was the problem? Aside from everything that we just mentioned, right? Is everything the problem for Bigetron right now? Oh my God, look at this. This is a beautiful view of a mountain and then an ocean and then a pond.
Yeah. You're swimming and you're in a lake, then you're hiking on a mountain.
You can jump to the ocean,
yeah.
Like the 70-year-olds watching MPL right now, like, man.
70-year-olds?
Okay, 45, 50 years old?
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't know what he's talking about.
The people who want to buy a prime real estate, like, oh man, that's a prime location, straight up.
Oh, okay. Gonna go to the mountains, huh?
But yeah, I just feel like it's them not identifying the ways for them to really win the fight. Because if they really understood, let's say for instance, that in those big fights, before Eman has reached that 6-item power spike, or even the 4-item power spike, if they recognize that the Law Yi is what is giving them so much AoE, so much crowd control, so much damage as well. He was the one that was bursting Luke down very, very fast. So I feel like if they understood that, they would have protected him a bit more, a bit better.
Okay, we're gonna call someone. We're gonna see if someone's
call someone.
Yeah, we're gonna call someone from other region out there to have an opinion on what's going on right now in Geek Fam versus BTR, and hopefully we get to see some insight from this guy, from the 2 times best commentator / analyst of MPL MENA. It's Mr. Yasu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, ya akhi. Ahlan wa sahlan, kayf haluk? Can you hear me? He's stunned.
Right.
Hello?
Hello, Yasu. How you doing,
Can you hear me now?
It seems like we have an audio issue for now. But it's okay, you know, we can see him right now, and for everybody watching, Yasu, I call him Yashta, but another nickname that I've given him is Mr. Pipi Papi Boom.
Pipi Papi Boom.
You know what that is?
Oh.
You know?
Angela?
Oh, of course I do.
What is it?
I was there during the debut of that voice line from Yasu. It's the Angela voice line that Yasu is famous for.
Let's try to call him again, Yasu. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, unfortunately, but we cannot hear him still.
You can't hear me yet?
Very unfortunate, Yasu, but it's okay, man. Who do you think is going to win? Do this, one, if Bigetron can come back. Do this, if Geek Fam cannot. If Geek Fam will just stomp them.
Be honest, man. Be honest.
Let's see it. Let's see it. No audio required.
Oh no!
Say it isn't so, Yasu. Say it isn't so.
Jazakallah, ya akhi. Jazakallah.
I can see my hopes and dreams. It's running. It's disappearing.
All right, Shevin, can we use a gesture system here to ask some more questions? What do you think?
Okay. Let's see. Out of the 4 remaining teams right now, Geek, BTR, Fnatic, Onyx, and EVOS.
A lot of fingers he's gonna
Who do you think will represent Indonesia and MSC? If you wanna say BTR, once again, 1. BTR is 1.
Okay.
Geek Fam is 2.
Okay.
Fnatic, Onyx is 3, and EVOS is 4. Do both hands with multiple teams. 3, it's Fnatic, Onyx.
Okay. What's the other one? Oh, he's thinking.
Ooh. Can you say it again?
He's loading.
Geek Fam 2,
BTR
EVOS
1,
4.
Geek Fam 2, EVOS 4. Hello? So is that a war or?
Don't rush him. Let him think.
All right, so it's a 4, he says EVOS. So he thinks EVOS and Fnatic. Oh, two! Geek Fam! Oh, 2 and 3.
I love you, Yahi. I love you.
Are you a Geek Fam fan as well with Sheffin? Are you a Fam Unity? Oh, he's an Onyx fan, Fnatic
He's a Kyrie fanboy, man.
Are you a Kyrie fanboy?
For sure.
Blink if it's yes.
Blink if it's yes.
He's blinking. the biggest Kyrie fan, blinking all the way.
All right. Well, Yasu, do you think that MPL MENA is just about to take over and destroy MPL ID? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Very simple.
Ooh.
Oh, he's thinking about this one.
Oh boy!
He's like, maybe yes?
Close.
He's not
maybe
sure. He's
yes.
not
It's a
sure.
close yes.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah,
close
so
yes.
he thinks he has a chance. For sure.
I like how, you know, we're speaking English, and we get Yasu here translating.
I'm speaking Arabic, I'm sorry.
You're speaking Arabic, we got English, we got sign language as well. We got everything here.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the passion we share, man. We don't need like audio, right? We can just do gestures and it's all good.
Okay. So.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So Yasu, we just got confirmation from our producers that you, the viewers, can actually hear you. We can't. So you can actually explain why you think Geek Fam and Fnatic Onyx will be the representatives of Indonesia MPL ID.
We'll try and read your lips.
All right, so for Fnatic Onyx, I would say that they have a really good synergy here, and for Geek Fam, they actually in these games have shown that they can always come back and they can always like recover from a bad early game to a perfect late game. So can you hear me, or are just like doing the hand gestures? Can you hear me? Nah, all right.
Very insightful.
No, we can't.
Very insightful.
Oh,
we can hear you 100%, you know?
100%,
Yeah, I have to agree with you, man. Whatever you said, I have to agree with you. And
all right.
that's what I think.
We can feel the energy, and you know, that's what matters, right? That's what
Yes.
matters.
Yes.
You got any other questions?
Okay, so there's a question here. Right now, in MPL Indonesia Season 13, all the teams that has an import goes to the playoffs. Meanwhile, the one that doesn't, you know, fail to qualify for playoffs. What do you think about this phenomenon? Do you think import is the meta right now?
Well, okay, so you are talking about the MPL Indonesia having a lot. Oh, you can hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah.
No.
Very clearly.
Finally.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you were talking about the teams in the playoffs are not like fully Indonesian, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I would say that this is actually not a big issue, or not like I think that I would point out, since the professional scene right now have a lot in common when it comes to communication. I think that most of the players can speak English, and some players from other regions with some teams, especially I would talk about Fnatic Onyx. Speaking of Kyrie having all his teammates from Indonesia, he can yet find his way to communicate with them. And also he's a foundation stone in Fnatic Onyx, so I would say that you cannot give that up just to have a full Indonesian team.
All right. Spoken like a true Kyrie fanboy. So, Geek Fam has won 2-0 right now. Do you think it will stay to 3-0, or do you think Bigetron Alpha will put up a fight in this game number 3, or maybe possibly getting a reverse sweep onto Geek Fam?
Well, I would like to apologize first for Mirko before I say what I want to say.
Oh, wow.
It's okay, man. You know, I've accepted it yesterday. It's okay.
What is it?
But look, honestly speaking, Bigetron can really pull off a really good and a solid early game, but when it comes to late game, they cannot finish. For a Geek Fam, they always recover so good, and when it comes to the previous 2 games, Bigetron had a really good early game, but they didn't finish up early, and if you continue to do that, it's gonna be 3-0, unfortunately for you and for Bigetron fans, for Geek Fam.
No, I think for Bigetron Alpha, this pattern might be my pattern, you know?
Yep.
It's the perfect pattern for a relationship.
Oh.
What? Mirko?
You start first.
No curses today?
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm cursing them
No
today.
curses today?
It seems I'm cursing them. Yeah, so I predicted 3-0. They're about to get 3-0'd.
Yeah. So all the Bigetron fans out there, if you wanna have someone to blame, don't blame the players, blame this guy.
It's Mirko's fault. It's not JP's fault. It's Mirko's fault, man.
Yep. Philippines got JP, we got Mirko.
It's okay. Liquid Echo and Falcon JP Brent will win MSC. We'll use our powers.
Always trying to get the last save.
I like what you're doing right now. I like what you're doing. So is there a question that you guys want to ask? Maybe one last question to Yasu, or or maybe it's me who asks him.
I think you can go for it.
Okay. So that's the. Wait a second. Which one am I gonna pick?
Just choosing his question.
Yeah.
Okay. What are your thoughts on the competitiveness of MPL Indonesia compared to MPL MENA, especially even the last match of the final week determined who would qualify for the playoffs? It was crazy for MPL Indonesia. What about MENA?
Oh. Well, I think that you guys did the research, huh? Well, for MPL Indonesia, it's definitely considered as one of the foundation stones, and it's always a region that the developing regions from around the world look up to. You guys are on your 13th season, while MENA is on its 5th season. So statistically speaking, you are more than 2 times experienced than us. And yes, currently MENA is getting better and getting more and more better. And hopefully one day we'll be at the same level, maybe even better. That's what I meant by maybe and even yes, as the MPL Indonesia competitive level.
Well, quick prediction then. Who's going to win MPL MENA? Just one team before we end this interview.
Oh my god,
you
put me on the spot here. I think that a lot of people will hate me for it. But speaking of what's happening currently, I would say R8.
Oh, that's a team with Defender.
Okay. So thank you so much, Yasu. Jazakallah.
Oh no, don't curse R8.
R8 will win.
No, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
Oh, he did it.
It's Miracle's
Well,
fault.
yeah, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate your insight and also your appearance here in MPL Indonesia. Hope we can see you again in the future in MPL Indonesia Season 14 maybe. So we're going to go back to our broadcast to see
Yasu.
the drafting phase for game number 3. Once again, Jazakallah for Yasu.
See you, man.
Shukran.
Wayaka.
Shukran.
Pipi Papi Boom. That should have been the last time. But we're back in the draft.
Wow.
Shall we see a Pipi Papi Boom this game? Should we see an Angela this game?
Angeloy.
An Angeloy?
Never mind.
Whoa, very different already. Chip, let go! Bigetron are going back.
Oh, man. But still, there's still a... Oh, Moskov is actually picked by BTR.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the X Factor we don't really mention enough in the first and second game. The fact that Chidera just pretty much can penetrate from the front line to the back line with ease. And now, Eman has the opportunity to do so and replicate that.
We did say that the Moskov is just so much more flexible, so much more dynamic, especially in the hands of intelligent goal winners like Chidera and Eman. So we have to see, the trade-off was that chip for sure. So now for Bigetron, it seems like they're trying to match it with speed, right? They have the Baksha, they have the Moskov Spear of Destruction. So technically they can kind of do cross-map plays as well. But they have to be careful because we saw how Beloyski can be so crafty with this chip. Just making sure that he avoids disadvantageous fights and always getting the right kind of fights for those portal plays.
Well, entering second banning phase. Once again, Export. Something that has been banned consistently in the second phase because like when you're going with a 2 frontliner that has a beefy HP, you don't want to play against that.
And it just seems like Bigetron Alpha hate this Xborg. Out of all the games they've played, even against EVOs, if you count the 4 EVOs games, and then now the 2 Geek games that they have played, Xborg's been banned out in every single one of those games.
Very interesting. We've seen this Baksha also rise up in popularity. We were talking earlier about how the carry was kind of seeming lackluster due to the sustainability, the built-in healing that is so preferred by teams right now in this teamfight meta. So going with the Baksha, I guess we'll try and mitigate a bit of that. And Bigetron, knowing that they're going to be trying to go head-to-head to try and win out the frontline battle, they have a solid, strong Baksha. No sustain though. And then they battle with the Terizla that has both sustain and damage reduction. Let's see how this plays out here. Because, you know, Luke on the Terizla, he did pretty okay, but he hasn't been as impressive as the rest of his signature heroes.
Yeah, signature heroes is definitely Lapu Lapu for Luke, and I believe in the regular season, he has 100% win rate with that hero. I don't know about playoffs. I believe he also wins out this Lapu Lapu game, right? In the playoffs, Luke?
In the playoffs?
Won the Lapu Lapu? I think against RRQ he actually lost on the Lapu Lapu.
Oh. Still. The XP will be the last thing that Geek Fam is gonna pick, so he has the opportunity to expand his hero pool, or maybe just pick other stuff depending on what Bigetron Alpha is choosing right here. Vin, does he want to go for that Arlet still? No, it's gonna be Minotaur in the roaming area for
The falling stars brought us
and also
here.
Novaria. No, I like this trap much better than the first two, I guess. Luke, what is your answer here?
Well, to see, without the Masha available, backline threats are... The backline can be targeted by Luke if he wants to dive in, but they're a lot more mobile. So without something targeted like a Masha, you have to wonder, no X-Brook either.
Yep.
It's gonna be the Lapu. Okay. Signature heroes all across the board.
Yep.
But like we said earlier, there were options available for Bigetron, like the Minotaur against the Faramis. Now it's all in play with the Novaria also to deny the surprise picks, to try and get that scouting, to avoid getting objectives snuck under their noses. We'll just have to see if Bigetron can pull this off.
Another interesting stat here to further emphasize this Lapu pick is really good is the fact that I believe in the regular season, it's almost 100% win rate when Lapu is picked up against a Baksha. There's not much ability that Baksha offers in a team fight, and that might be something that can be utilized for Luke in this case. Game number 3. Is it a match decided by Geek Fam with a 3-0, or Bigetron Alpha, do they still have something to say here in this series? Their last lifeline. It's now or never for the robots. Can they still be alive after this game and gain the MSC first? We'll see in the Land of Dawn for Geek Fam versus BTR.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's see how this plays out. Is it going to be an early game situation? Is it once again going to be a late game marathon initiated by Geek Fam? Looking at the junglers right here, Rayon this Fredrin has been just absolutely phenomenal, going for these neutral objectives, but also matching up to Super Ken, a jungler we always spoke highly of. And now look at the difference in the mid lane. Aboy left relatively alone, in stark contrast to the previous games where we saw massive early game 2v2s.
Instant rotation up top, Beloyski getting the stun down as well, but Key rotating. Oh, some good damage with that concussive blast on Chadera, but Beloyski returning the favor.
Yep, that's a chip damage. Not even any follow-up from Chadera there. That was just chip, chunking Eman down that low. That's the extra bit of benefit, but with Key around, sustain will be favoring Bigetron for sure. And looking at the items right here, firmness and tenacity for Key. This is a popular option for him. He's been always trying to be the main frontline to try and tank most of that damage.
Just pulling Super Can in the bottom lane turret there, giving a little bit of time for Bigetron Alpha. But Master Assassin from Chadera, this is definitely something that's interesting to say the least.
Trying to secure a strong lane against Eman. And Eman actually opting for tenacity. He expects to be in the thick and thin of the fights. He knows that his survivability is so much more important than just strong laning, so he goes for that, knowing that maybe the Minotaur will be around to try and babysit him to a stronger laning phase.
No, the first objective fight, I think it's going to be almost 50-50. The fact that they have a really good jungler in that Fredrin, a lot of CCs they can spam against a Baksha. Not much utility in terms of like 5v5 team fights, but they have a Minotaur. He's possibly going for level 4 in the mid lane. Let's see what's going to happen. This first objective battle, is it going to be the same story? Bigetron Alpha dominating on the objective fight, or Luke
forcing the flicker out already. That's a retribution. It's Ray who wins it despite the combo with the Astral Sphere. Ray's on fire.
The Virtue was used by Super Ken as well, so it was just a bit of a miscalculation. Ray just showing up Super Ken. That has been hailed as one of the best junglers for now. With that advantage though, Geek will be just continuing with the game plan. They know that they like going for those team fights. They're waiting for Beloyski to be the one to initiate those plays with these ganks.
And Flicker already used in the bottom lane for Beloyski might be just going out of the turret there. Good resource wasted for BTR. Currently 100 gold lead, not much lead so far this game, in this 3 minutes. Let's see though, maybe the second objective fight will be different this time.
Both junglers just trading blows We talk about the sustained difference, but look at the bottom side. Sorizo getting bullied. No, Beloise comes in with a shortcut too. That's all 5 members who rotates down below. First blood for Geek Fam, and it's a boy who takes it. Oh, Kido takes the portal as well. Stuns Luke on the turret, but is not able to punish him. Luke just recalls on him as he flickers out to safety. No response from Bigetron at all. Losing, remember, not really getting that benefit that they want. And now in the gold lane, we already see the rotations coming in. Ray and Beloisky once more.
Possible dive situation, but Chidera just wants to go for a few of those turret shots to get that gold. Shoot away by the Spear of Misery. Setting up for the next neutral objective battle.
Already, right? The way they use the global presence from Chip and also Luo Yi has been night and day. Bigetron Alpha seems like they cannot utilize that properly compared to Geek Fam, and over again, it's always a value portal or value diversion from opposed Luo Yi.
Alright, that's the play for Sorizo to try and get some sustain up. That sustain difference between Luke and Sorizo is really showing here. We all keep seeing Sorizo low and low, ever so close to half HP. And now with the turtle coming up, he walks into a trap.
3 members on him right now. He flickers up and gets pulled back by the Shadow Stampede. And just like that, Luke picks up the kill with the Bravest Fighter. Luke taken low though. Our boy still has that Nether Realm, another Shadow Stampede. Brings Super Ken back. It seems now with an Astral Sphere connecting, Geek Fam will still be able to fully control this neutral objective. Bigetron not contesting.
It's a complete opposite of what happened in game number 1 and game number 2. This time around, Geek, they won the early game, but I don't think it's going to be the same story the late game. They're much more battle tested. They have a better mental fortitude so far compared to BTR. Now, what's going to be the solution here when you go to the mid game for BTR?
Well, technically, now there's a bit of a weird situation here. Waiting on Sorizo though.
Another shortcut now on a full 5-man rotation. They all want to take the portal, and it's only used up to go and get that turret in the bottom lane. But still a massive hold advantage that Geek Fam hold. Chidera coming back.
Just too easy. Every time the portal pops up, it's always towards the isolated members of Bigetron Alpha. It doesn't matter if it's a gold lane or XP lane, but Chidera taking some damage here. Still safe. And Ray will try to keep this turret intact.
Just push away. And now you can see that the total usage from the side of Geek Fam is just so much better. And you're seeing Bigetron just confused on how to react to this. It's always a quick portal play, and everyone goes back to what they were doing. So it's almost like a 5-man team fight for free card if you're playing Monopoly. Just get everyone in the same spot, and then everyone just goes back and does their own thing. And just like that, even though they're losing in the movement speed from the Baxia, from the Novaria, they're getting the rotational advantage. And for Bigetron, they have to really wait for that long late game where this Moskov can be a bit more active, where this Novaria can use that poke damage and use that sustain and poke to try and get a lead or an advantage when it comes to a Lord Dance.
Yeah, I don't think so far Key has used his minions even once against Sorizo.
Another 5-man gang into the bottom lane. Sorizo goes for a desperate vengeance and loses his life for the second time in this game. That goalie building for Geek.
See the difference? When Geek is playing those heroes, playing those teleportation heroes, it feels very unfair. It's always a 4v1, 3v1. But if it's BTR, it's always like this.
Purify again, Aman. Spear of Misery to disengage from Chidera's blazing duet, and look around the Turtle Super Ken. Taking half HP, has that regen and pops the Puissance as well. Still level 10 though, equal to Ray. Aman up top, trying to go for the clear. On the wave, Chidera doing a whole lot of damage on Key.
That's Chidera with only 1 item, by the way. Good destruction though. Connects.
Retribution, this time it's Super Ken, who steals it away from Geek Fam. Oh. Fails the jump twice.
Small victory, 2.4k for Geek Fam. Still dominating in terms of objective.
To remind you guys, back at home, there was once a time where Super Ken said when he gets that Baxia,
it's a done deal.
It's a done deal. We'll have to see if he can deliver right now as Beloisky again threatens. Chidera takes some damage, but that turret, ever so slightly, is taking some damage as Super Ken goes for a fight.
Onto a boy he goes, the Astral Echo connecting as well, forcing that Purify, and now Bigetron Alpha are happy with that trade. Disengaging, Puissance as well for the movement speed.
The kiting game is always on point for Geek Fam. Every time Bigetron, they're forced to chase with a Minotaur, which is definitely not ideal. in this case.
Shouldn't be chasing with it at all, but later on the Novaria can help out with some slows, with some utility. For now, Sorizo going full defensive, just concerned about the next big dive. And Eman actually is keeping up in farm. And Bigetron knows they have a chance here to go on Beloyski.
The knock up too, but Beloyski just flickers out to safety. And Geek Fam want no business taking these fights.
Did you guys notice what Chitera has been doing for the last 5 minutes? It's a rinse and repeat. Try to get down the turret with some pressure from Beloyski. Nothing changed. And there's no adjustment. There's no response coming in from BTR. They're losing the outer turret and probably the middle turret if this skips up as well.
Well, there have been rotations coming in from Bigetron to try and help out to make sure that Eman doesn't suddenly get dive on and losing that advantage, losing the lane all out to Chidera. But the thing is, they can't really go for those fights either. Due to the Purifies, we saw that they were attempting to try and go for some kind of punish, but a boy was able to get out of it. Meanwhile, Ray is just farming up a Storm, already out-leveling Super Ken, but that's only for now.
Now, the load is coming up. Might be the chance for that. Look at the pokes coming in from Chidera. Meanwhile,
a dive, but it seems Luke doesn't want to go and commit on that. It's a flicker burnt out from Sorizo. Beloyski now gonna be caught in the shield, getting knocked up as well. Beloyski pops in a shortcut onto Eman, another round. Chidera with a blazing duet right into the back with a battle mirror image as well. Finds Eman. He with a flicker defensively, but Super Ken is caught in the midst of all the geeks. 3-4-0.
Game 1, Game 2. Every time the portal is popped up by the key, he's always dead. He's always punished. But look at Beloyski right now. He's not even dead. He's still standing strong with his durability. A clear difference in how they use the chip and how they use their composition to their favor. Geek Fam, 6K gold lead in 10 minutes.
And with that play, getting more turrets, and you have to appreciate as well, Luke, we talked about his Lapu Lapu not really winning in the playoffs just yet. In that fight, he was absolutely essential in shutting down Eman. He used the skills, the tools available on the Moskov to try and survive. But even then, there's just too much pressure, too much focus coming in from Geek Fam. Now with an 8K gold lead, with the global presence still, something they can use. Bigetron are stuck just defending as Eman finally goes and picks up his third item, Power Spike. He is still keeping up with Chidera, but he's losing out like 1,000 gold at this point.
Now another shortcut brings Key back there as well. The Stampede, Chidera gets rid of him. 0-3 and 0, 7-0. Oh, Luke not caught with a final stack. Another round, full dive into the enemy base, and it might just work out. Blazing duet from Chidera. And the Praetor's Wrath as well from Ray. But Eman is able to kite back. Might be the first mistake of Geek Fam in this entire series. 3-1.
Finally, a lot of day. In the brink of despair, Bigetron Alpha. That was Luke's carelessness just paid off by his teammates. He gets away scot-free, but the fact that Boy also has to use the Nether Realm and everyone just dove in, it's not ideal. He has to be a bit more careful this time.
It's an aggressive play for Ray to just jump into the base to try and follow up on that play. Yes, that play was initiated by Sorizo on the Arlet, so finally finding some value on that final slash. But it's only just begun right now. 5K gold lead was a bit of a shrinkage for sure, but everyone, particularly Luke, 1,500 gold ahead, has a Hunter Strike and then went straight for the Oracle for that sustain and the Blade Armor to ensure that Eman can't really get a free time, easy time to just keep hitting in the middle of those big team fights.
What is even Keys gonna do at this time? Every time he's trying to do execute the Minion's Fury, it's always defensively. But it's getting ran down by 5 people of Geek Fam.
Yeah.
Before he was able to do anything at all, he's bursted down at this point.
He was using it a bit too aggressively earlier. We thought that he was going to use the Minion Fury as a deterrent, as a way to really cancel out the Nether Realm. But there, even before the Nether Realm was activated, he was already preemptively using it. It kind of timed out quite perfectly, but at this point, I think he has to play it a bit safely and maybe use, they have to kind of alternate, right? They have to put Super Ken in the front, as usual, and then they have to try and figure out, like, which crowd control do you want to use first? Is it going to be the Minion Fury? Is it going to be the final slash? Because both can have dire consequences for Geek Fam. That is something that they definitely want to try and steer clear from, especially for Chidera on that blazing duet.
Already see the discipline from Geek Fam after the initial mistake from Luke. They're freezing the lanes. They know that they can't caught Lakin. Contrast from what BTR Alpha did in game number 1 and game number 2. They failed to keep their lead, and right now Beloyski, gotta watch out for that guy.
I think at this point you gotta watch out for everyone. That flank certainly is gonna be a problem, but even if they go front to back, it's a 5,000, 6,000 gold lead. Oh, Beloyski gets spotted out. Moreno. Just look at it, just screen Beloy.
Good play by Moreno to really find Beloyski right there. With the Lord threatened right here, though, this is what we've seen earlier. Chip far away, but a lot further up compared to how Bigetron is using it. Beloyski willing to take the risk, going with a conceal. Woo. With the portal available, that is a scary Chip roaming around as Key goes on him.
He is well with a jump, but Super Ken is isolated in the back. That's a Spear of Destruction, and one last Astral Sphere that was out of range. Luke, bravest fighter, defensively now to back away. For both teams, it's a full disengage, but Bigetron Alpha are reclaiming the territory around the Lord.
Can't even capitalize on that mistake coming in from Beloyski, and now he's online again, trying to make a play here in the top lane. Super Ken does spot him up.
Oh, both these teams are just a bit too hesitant here, not wanting to pull the trigger first, but now with the final slash used up, there's a chance that Bigetron can still go for this poke gameplay with the glowing one. More damage from Moreno, good healing still from Key with the Flash of the Oasis, but they're not landing the spells that well. Geek Fam spreading out so far out from each other. They know that the portal at worst case scenario can be used to get everyone back on track. It's Bigetron that's just waiting to try and find some kind of advantage. As the wave on the bottom side, I think it's setting up to push for Bigetron.
Yep, they have the right to pull the trigger or just release the Lord here. Every time they feel like they don't have the advantage on that far lane, and Beloyski still trying to find an angle to capitalize on his portal. And now Super Ken.
Oh, Luke just gets out of it. Reading Bigetron so well.
The wave on the bottom side, though, is actually pushing for Geek Fam ever so slightly. Oh, now Luke, no flicker, uses the Waver Fighter as a boy. Trade some damage. This is a very slow Lord dance coming out.
Bit of uncharacteristic in a good way for Geek Fam. Much more disciplined, much more patient, but boy,
final slash. Connecting onto a boy, forcing the Netherrealm out, and Mon is so low! Luna's Fury to disengage, Bigetron Alpha, oh boys, take it down! Moreno finds the snipe, but Beloyski is on for the flank. Shortcut placed down, but now they all collide on that shortcut. They all teleport in. Even a boy who has respawned back into this game. He was on full stacks.
That's weird, Varashi.
That's that's an exploit that a boy likes doing, but no, Chorizo goes for a play again.
That's a 3-man final slash, no Luna's Fury this time round, and Key and Chorizo, 2 members. Key initiators for Bigetron Alpha, taken out by Geek.
Finally, they can pull the trigger safely here in this Lord dance. Not even a dance. They're taking a Lord of their own, and unless Eman has the ultimate to steal this, there's no way. It's gonna go to BTR. And right now, this might be the last Lord of the series. Bigetron or Geek Fam can utilize this one. It's game over for BTR and their unbelievable run in the regular season. A complete meltdown and breakdown in the playoffs.
Well, if you look at Bigetron right here, man, they went for that play, even though they have the sustain and poke advantage. I felt like they could have waited with no turrets down for the side of Geek Fam. They have the Lord coming in. There is late game wave control for Bigetron, but they have to be careful. If Eman falls right here, Novaria doesn't output enough damage to shred down the Lord that quickly.
Conceal as well from Beloy. He's trying to go and reposition with his team. One wave in the mid lane, one wave in the bottom lane with the Lord. Enhanced Lord just charging down. The Bigetron Alpha decide to go and clear out this mid lane as they pop into Astral Echo to reveal a boy and Chidera. Beloyski low. Key unable to find that knock-up, and Bigetron Alpha are able to weather this siege. The first round at least. Now another round of that siege in the mid lane. Beloyski hovering over to look for something. Final slash on Luke. Dashes out to safety. Now up top they go. In the bottom lane still, that's a minion wave pushing in, and it seems Bigetron Alpha have been able to defend.
Wow, couldn't ask for a better defense at the time. Literally nothing is given up for, not even a kill. And that's probably the fact that Emman is already on the late game. And this Moskov, unless you have a proper way to get into that Moskov, just bypassing the peel coming in from Key, Geek Fam will not pull the trigger. They're not going to be able to even get close to Emman. Looking at the items though, Rashi, what's going on right now?
It's now the exact opposite. The defense from Bigetron, so dangerous when they're in the base, especially with that long range, with the coverage, with the card control for counter-engage. Geek Fam, they have to wait around and maybe go for the age-old Faramis play to try and take an advantage. But even then, they already used that whole shortcut passive combo for a boy earlier. Moreno gets the orange buff, small victories, but they're still waiting. With the turret gone on the bottom lane for Bigetron, once this Lord comes up, Geek Fam can play that macro game once more. As the boy picks up the Holy Crystal, that's gonna be a lot of burst if Bigetron goes for a big team fight.
I want BTR to realize that if the Lord dance doesn't really favor them, or they are, let's dance, round 2.
Super Ken, Shield Unity. That's a stun from Beloy. No shortcut committed, but look at that damage. Nothing in return. Oh, a boy even seals away the purple buff, and Super Ken is chunked to half. A quarter now. They must make their move. It's now or never. Go big or go Geek. And the Geeks are making Bigetron go home. A few shots back. Astral Meteor as well. Now conceal. Final slash to disengage. Key walks up the Stampede, brings him back. Beloyski low. Minute Fury. Knocking up 3 because Super Ken was already very, very low. A Spear of Destruction into the back line. Astral Sphere not connecting. Netherrealm baited out. Super Ken might just be slain. Ray secures the Lord.
Woo. Another tough job for BTR this time. Another Lord to defend. Arashi, what are the chances right now?
It's still very possible, but it depends on the execution, especially with the dives available, with the Netherrealm available for Geek Fam. They played that so well. They're supposed to have the poke disadvantage against the Novaria, but the way they were able to threaten Bigetron, the way they position in order for Bigetron to not have vision on the Lord, forces them to make a move and to expend some of those spells like the Astral Sphere to try and get information. With Luke coming in right now, with the Lord coming in, Geek Fam, can they go and end it?
3-man final slash, no capitalization. Evolved Lord in the bottom lane getting handled, but the base is wide open right now. Geek Fam, don't go for it. Ray gets chunked very low. That's a Spear of Misery connecting on the 2. Bigetron Alpha though are just using a poke. Astral Sphere connecting onto Luke as well. That's a Spear of Destruction. Iman takes it. Another round to save Luke. They're running for the hill. Super Ken is trying to look for a play, but in the bottom lane, the Minion Waves is still going to be crashing down on that base. Another Astral Sphere connects, but none of Bigetron's abilities have been able to take Geek Fam members down, and that final base turret just clinging on, just like the hopes and dreams of Bigetron.
It ain't over. Bigetron with the defense, with that late game. A great play, and you're seeing now the difficulties, but Geek Fam, they know this playstyle very well. They're trying to maintain it. Oh, Super Ken, he's got to be careful, man. He's getting chunked by these Ghost Bursters again and again, so much. This is a late game Faramis with an insane amount of damage.
Whether you're a BTR fan, whether you are a Geek Fam fan, your heart must be thumping right now. That little hope, that crumble of hope from BTR that still lives in their heart. In this late of a game, 7.7k gold lead, but they somehow kind of have the control in this defense. Geek Fam though, the question still remains, can they break through of this defense?
Final slash not connecting again. One hit is all they need on that turret, on that base turret. But Bigetron are clinging on to, oh, whoa, that shield. Is that the photo and the rose gold?
Yep. But that, the fact that it triggers because of a single Ghost Bursters, that's scary.
You see even Super Ken trying to get some more magical defense. He's rolling around here more so for information than for engage. But yeah, Super Ken actually still is not completed with the magical defense, so you can see that a boy is just destroying him every single time. There you go, finally the Athena, considering the long cooldowns of a boy on the Faramis, will be so beneficial with the Lord spawning on the lane closer to where the base turrets of Bigetron has fallen. This can be their opportunity. All will go down to one single moment though. And
Round
Bigetron have
3.
everything to lose.
Round 3, they have all the tools, they have all the necessary components to be able to take this Lord. Bigetron, things are looking better than ever from the mid game, and now they have a very, very solid chance as Beloyski will try to force this one.
He gets it!
And he did. Ooh, huge.
They can't even punish it. He just sneaks it out from under their noses. It was hanging on a thread, but Beloyski, leave it to him to make plays like that. And now it's back to the Lord Dance with the wave pressure though. Man, Bigetron, this is a tough situation to be in.
They send him on up top. He's the only guy that can rotate back around with the teleports, but look at that chip. Roaming across, finding Moreno, putting the shortcut down, but it's a bit off. Now they all collapse onto Bigetron Alpha, but King is able to find him in his fury. Now it is a 4-man knockup. Final slash as well to the back line. Moreno still trying to deal some damage. Zaman does the same thing. Key, no immortality. Appraiser's Wrath comboed in. And it will be Key's demise.
Oh man. This is intense. Everything could have went wrong there for Geek Fam, but they played really beautifully. Not forcing anything, not just pouring anything towards Eman. They know their chances, they know who to go for. And this time, it's a 4v5. The chances are still there for BTR.
One last hope, one last stand. A final slash and a flicker combo from Cerezo, but Bravest Fighter will be used up as well. Cerezo with a vengeance constantly. Shortcut, Beloyski taken down by the boy! In the back, Eman still able to Abyss Walker out with that last Ghost Bursters. Cerezo pulled back. And the boy secures that kill. It's a 2-4-1.
60-second death timers. Fortunately for Bigetron, they can clear, they have enough members. We can see Ray is still on the Lord, but at this point, it cannot be a single man effort. It has to be a team effort to take this Lord down, and Bigetron knows it. Key is up soon, and both teams are just stuck waiting. Yet again, Geek Fam has shown their cards. The Beloyski flank, the boy rush in to try and take Eman out, but he stands there, persevering. With the Lord still in the picture, with the wave on top, relatively controlled, Super Can!
Full burst, Winner Truncheon, the desperate one at Data Boy. Very low too, Bigetron Alpha. This is the time, now or never.
Oh, they're gambling.
Abyss Walker into the front, onto Luke, who has a Twilight Armor. A few of those shots connecting a boy. Goes to the Immortality, Key! Finds a massive Minion's Fury. Now another knockup, but another round is able to tank it now. Eman slowly but surely Spear of Destruction in the back, Eman! Jumps into the back as well, but Chadera is able to buy the immortality in time, and Eman gets slashed down, gunned down by Chadera. Moreno and Ken holding the hopes and dreams of the robots. And Geek Fam will have to disengage. Chorizo respawns back in. Moreno gets a shot in, but look at Chip. Look at Beloy. Look at the big brains of this man who catches Moreno.
Can they end? Can they end? They have the tools. They have the DPS. This is the time for Geek Fam to go through BTR.
No waves, no damage dealers, only the tanks. Cerezo, one last flash of that emote. Geek Fam, one last siege. The streak is gone. The dream has become a nightmare.
What happened? The first placer of regular season. The most dominant team before the postseason. Absolutely decimated. Before the postseason, 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 absolutely decimated.
It's a repeat of what happened, but even deadlier this time. It was 3-2 last season in the lower bracket finals for 3-2 last season in the lower bracket finals for top 3. Now it's a 3-0. And they end up 4th place.
And now It's a 3-team battle. 3 teams remaining in Season 13. EVOS, Onyx, and Geek.
Top 3 secured for Geek Fam. A back-to-back top 2 maybe. Possibly a miraculous. So close yesterday, yet so far, but the climb back up from the bottom.
Look at the maturity. Look at the composure from Geek Fam. They're not happy. Job's not done. Job is not done. The single win doesn't mean anything if they cannot win the next match that's coming between EVOS and Onyx.
That will be the end of the line for Bigetron for now, though. As you see the respect on the stage, have to see what they have to say.
Masak goa bang, masak goa, udah.
Memulai perjalanan dengan begitu kuat, namun pada akhirnya mereka harus runtuh. Namun kita boleh mengingat bahwa mereka memberi hari ini.
Tapi perjuangannya patut kita apresiasi. Sama-sama kita berikan tepuk tangan. Apresiasi untuk Bigetron Alpha.
Inilah dia pertemuan terakhir kita untuk season ini. Kita mengharapkan yang terbaik tentunya untuk Bigetron Alpha. Mari kita beri tepuk tangan kepada tim Bigetron Alpha. The last ball from Bigetron Alpha. Mereka berjuang as a team. Dan pada akhirnya kali ini mereka harus terhenti. Juga sebagai tim mereka benar-benar memberikan yang segalanya. Hanya saja takdir berkata lain. Namun kalau kita berkata takdir, the history repeat itself. Inilah dia pemenangnya, Geek Fam.
Wow, sejarah Geek Fam memulangkan Bigetron kembali terjadi setelah kita melihat di season 12. Kini di season 13 hal yang sama terjadi. What happened? Beloy.
This is Geek Fam. Mode playoff.
Mode playoff.
Apa yang membedakan mode playoff Geek Fam dan regular season? Kayaknya semua orang bilang, oh this is Geek Fam mode playoff. Mengerikan.
Karena kalau Geek Fam lebih suka main kalau depan banyak fans gitu.
Depan banyak fans. Wow, luar biasa nih Geek Community. Tapi ini kalau kita lihat flashback ke belakang Bude ya. Di leg 1, leg 2, regular season, kalian ketemu Bigetron, itu kalian selalu kalah. Bigetron menang. Kali ini, wah sama sekali nggak dikasih 1 poin game pun.
Emang kalau regular season selalu kalah sih lawan BTR atau enggak. Kalau menang susah banget kalau di regular. Tapi kan Geek Fam playoffs mode.
Mengerikan. Dengan playoff mode yang dinantikan juga, semua orang menantikan pula. Tapi menurutmu sendiri, dengan 3-0 seperti ini, mungkin di luar ekspektasi dari banyak super fans. Kenapa ini bisa 3-0 nih?
Mungkin gara-gara coach kita dan kita lebih kalem aja hari ini. Terus coach kita draftnya bagus banget.
Bagaimana tapi kalian melihat lawan kalian hari Bigetron Alpha? Seperti berbeda dengan regular season atau kalian yang berbeda atau bagaimana ini?
Kitanya aja Bude, soalnya preparation kita bagus banget. Sebenarnya lawan BTR kayak kita liatin mereka kayak normal team aja, kayak treat them normal team tapi ya gitu.
Jadi mereka memang Bigetron ini luar biasa, tetapi Geek memang udah evaluasi performnya ini mode playoff. Semuanya luar biasa, tapi salah satunya juga look nih. Look, ini kalau lihat, wah look mode playoff. Upgrade banget nih dari regular season ke playoff. What happened?
Hoki aja.
Hoki aja Bude. Tapi hokimu besar banget loh di playoff.
Cuma bisa Masya kan?
2 kali pakai Masya. Dan melihat momen itu, tentu saja pakai Masya bukan hero yang kita biasa lihat. Look dikasih Masya, dilepas. Responmu seperti apa?
Seneng sih garuk-garuk orang.
Digaruk semuanya. Tapi kan kita ngeliat ketat banget tuh game 1, game kedua. Gimana sih kalian menciptakan momen khususnya untuk Luke di match kali ini?
Tunggu mereka blunder aja sih. Soalnya kita masih juga kan hero late game. Jadi ya santai aja early ya.
Santai aja bro.
Kasih aja semua. Late game baru sikat.
Wow.
Late game baru sikat. Tapi kalau ngomongin Geek playoff, aduh kayaknya ini history maker banget. Karena kalau kita lihat ya dari season 11 pertama kali masuk playoff. Season 12 grand final. Season 13 kira-kira ada kejutan apa lagi nih di season 13?
Aboy.
Aboy. Apalagi Aboy nih ya. Aboy selama di Geek kayaknya belum pernah ngerasain gak masuk playoff. Apakah Aboy kuncinya agar Geek selalu masuk playoff nih?
Enggak sih, kita percaya satu sama lain juga.
Jadi kali ini, season ini historinya apa? Kan kemarin masuk playoff, grand final. History dari Geek kira-kira di season ini apa nih?
Ya udah pasti pengen juara sih.
Ingin juara. Karena di depan mata sekarang tinggal tersisa 3 tim aja. Melihat bahwa Geek Fam, Onyx, dan juga EVOS. 3 tim ini, apakah yang memang sudah kalian lihat akan menjadi top 3?
Iya.
Tim ini 3 ini mode playoff semua menurut kalian?
Iya, jago semua, tiga-tiganya. Dua-duanya.
Benar, dua-duanya. Yang nggak jago siapa nih?
Kita.
Loh, tadi katanya mode playoff kata Baloy.
Mode playoffnya bukan mode jago, berarti modenya mode apa sih kalau untuk Ray sendiri? Ini kan playoff pertama Ray, berjalan bersama mereka di playoff seperti ini. Bagaimana Ray? Bahkan sekarang udah top 3 langsung.
Mode hoki sama mode doa aja, berdoa terus.
Mode hoki sama mode doa. Tapi Monica penasaran gimana rasanya Ray bisa nih adaptasi dengan abang-abangnya ini. Pengalaman ya di playoff. Ray kali ini pertama kali playoff tapi kayaknya udah beradaptasi banget ya. Dari tadi kayaknya pede ngomongnya juga, mainnya apalagi.
Dibantu teman-teman lah berempat soalnya mereka senior gua. Ya. Sama coach.
Oh, kata-kata apa yang paling mungkin Ray pegang tuh selama permainan berlangsung?
Jangan takut soalnya sama-sama apa? Evos dong makan nasi. Sama-sama player lah, sama-sama player gitu. Jadi ya aman.
Kuncinya terus ingat bahwa sama-sama player, jadi melihat sama rata semuanya gitu Ray?
Iya benar.
Jadi nggak ada tuh player baru, player lama, apapun itu dihilangkan. Dan Ray berhasil melakukan hal itu?
Iya.
Yes.
Keren sekali, tapi ada Cadera. Cadera gimana nih rasanya terus melaju? Makanan gratis.
Mukbang dulu nih untuk Cadera ya, sempat ya. Tapi enak-enak ya?
Enak-enak.
Enak-enak. Tapi enak nggak 3-0 seperti ini?
Enak banget.
Enak banget. Dan menariknya kita melihat bahwa histori Geek Fam, Cadera juga pastinya sadar biasanya menang tuh struggling. Ada comeback meng-comeback, tapi kalian semakin memperlihatkan bahwa kalian mendominasi seperti halnya sekarang. Ini dominasi kalian dari mana datangnya?
Dari diri sendiri, terus dari pengalaman juga lah. Dari pengalaman yang sebelum-sebelumnya.
Dari diri sendiri, pengalaman sebelumnya, terus kata Baloy tadi.
Dari Butamap sih, kita belajar. Ya. Yeah.
Langsung terkenang ya?
Benar.
Match kemarin tuh,
Yeah.
Oke, jadi itu sebuah pelajaran yang kalian dapatkan di match kemarin melawan Onyx. Namun, nextnya di final lower bracket esok hari, kalian bisa saja bertemu Onyx kembali ataupun EVOS Glory. Lagi mode playoff juga banyak yang bilang seperti kalian. Namun menurut kalian siapa yang akan menjadi lawan kalian di final lower bracket? EVOS atau Onyx?
Siapa aja soalnya kita kan targetnya juara, jadi siapapun kita harus kalahin.
Jadi siapapun. Tapi lu kalau menurut lu maunya ketemu Onyx atau EVOS nih?
Siapa aja.
Oh, sama dengan sang kapten. Harus ready.
Cadera kayaknya punya jawaban.
Sama.
Yang nggak sama ada?
Aboy beda.
Aboy beda.
Aboy.
Boy, siapa boy yang bakal di lower bracket? Final lower bracket bersama kalian. Ini kita hanya prediksi saja.
Ya nggak beda, sama-sama.
Sama, karena memang kalau kata Ray tadi juga ya, memang semuanya timnya mode playoff bude.
Pengen deh tiga-tiganya langsung gitu, dua-duanya biar rame gitu, 3 tim beradu. Nanti mungkin ada map baru ya, tapi menarik sekali. Hari ini, tolong deskripsikan match kalian dengan 1 atau 2 kata.
Boy.
Cadera hari ini belum terharu-haru nih.
Mantap.
2 kata.
Boleh, Luke.
Pecah utak.
Pecah utak.
Iya, bahasa Palembang.
Oke, yang artinya?
Keren banget.
Keren banget. Geek Fam, pecah utak. Tapi inilah dia, mari kita sambut bersama-sama kemenangan dari tim Geek Fam.
Oh man, 3-0 Geek Fam, huh? 3-0 Geek Fam, huh? Who would have thought? Who would have thought? If only there's someone who actually predicted Geek Fam would go 3-0 against PTR. Damn, who would have thought? No one thought of that. Not even a single caster thought of that. I am speechless, wow.
You know, it's okay.
Wow.
You know, it's okay.
Stop wowing, bro.
We're all waiting for M6 anyways, right? Like,
Oh.
yeah. You know, at least I can say this. I'm proud of myself for always staying humble, even when Bigetron were #1. You know, never, you know, bantering here and there.
He didn't make any bold claims.
Never. You know,
Yep.
Rashi, I never boo-hooed you or anything, right? We're on the same boat now, right? We're in the cave together.
Yeah, welcome to the club.
Yeah, okay. At least you got a 3-2, right? I mean, like, it was 2. You at least got 2, man.
Oh, you already turned that. You already turned that.
Oh, man.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
Let's see
But
though, who was
tone
the...
tone it down a bit. Let's get the player of the match here. Big boy Beloyski, big brain Beloyski, big everything Beloyski. Man, that chip. I mean, Shevin was saying this just earlier. Where have you seen a chip that active, making the portal and portal back plays 3 times during the whole game? Beloyski is just something else, man. He was just so good. And the team is also amazing. But Beloyski just seems to be such a good enabler that when your team is good, they just get even better when this guy is just around.
And the thing is we knew about this. We knew about how lethal this man is on the chip in the regular season. I think he only got chipped like, what, twice? And every time it's just been banned away or denied away from him because he's such a lethal threat on it. It's such a special way to play the chip, right? Because he can use it for the normal ways, which is just pickoffs.
Yep.
But sometimes he uses it to take turrets, rotate on the map, even the little feints that he does with the shortcut. Sometimes he puts the shortcut down, and then he just walks away. Then he zones the entire enemy team, and it works out for him so well.
The calls is unbelievable. So strategic and so like he knows the areas to exploit. Every time Sarito is alone, that's food right there. I'm gonna feed it to my boys. And every time he uses the portal, it's always very safely. No one died every time he used it. Just immaculate on the calls and also the just absolutely no hesitation at all from his teammates to follow up. And this is one of the examples. 5 guys on the bottom lane. And you know what? See ya. We're gonna go back to the top lane.
It's the player of the match highlights by our official gold partner, Ube as gold. In these fights, you see in the first fight, you immediately see the idea, right? The vision from Geek Fam. Okay, they have good team fighting, but without Eman, no DPS. It's a Novaria, it's not a low Yi like the previous game. This was one of the only moments where we saw like a big play being initiated by Geek Fam that kind of was a win for them. And even when it's a win, it's still kind of traded back. There's still something that Geek Fam were able to get. And when it comes to that patient game again and again, it's just so crazy. This fight went for so long. A boy gets hit here, gets burned down by the glowing wand. Immediately Beloyski comes in. A boy shows up again with the passive. And that utilization of the Faramis is just so annoying, man. I think a boy and Sans at this point are the ones that are the most notorious for it. But look at this. They're so far away from the Lord that Bigetron have no information. They have no idea if it's close to dying, if it's not taken at all. And they were making these crazy risky plays knowing that it's a split-second decision. And here it seems like Bigetron were about to take over, about to pop off. But of course Luke says no, deletes Iman there. He thought he was safe, already outplaying a lot of the damage coming in from Chidera. A lot of the follow-up from a boy as well. Afterwards, it's a slow burn to a absolutely explosive victory from Geek Fam.
And what I really love about this team is the fact that they are very disciplined, much different than Season 12 Geek Fam, Season 11 Geek Fam. The growth is there, very apparent. Like every time they're trying to go into the base, I can see a lot of teams out there when they have 8k gold lead, they just rush through the base. And they know they can do it. They cannot do it when Eman is there, when Moreno is there, when all the peel is available for Bigetron Alpha. Geek Fam's composition is not, it's not going to be able to break through that. And they are always playing it very, very patiently. Maybe too much at times. But still, a growth that's need to be admired.
Look at the post-game stats, the buff situation, relatively, yeah. I mean, Geek Fam were able to get a few of it, but for the most part, it's just control from both these teams. Like you said, Shrevin, they just played it patient, they know what they have to do, and they never really force anything. When they're not sure what to do, they never barrel down into the base to try and force a play. Ironically, like we saw Bigetron do in the previous game, where they're able to trade some kills, some momentum for a base turret. And the neutral objective game, there was one taken by Bigetron Alpha, but you can see that for Geek Fam, it's not just about that late game play. Even when they do have the strong mid game, they're able to just contest again and again for these neutral objectives. So they're not one-dimensional at all. And showing the early and the late all in one match, that is what Geek Fam was able to do against Bigetron. You look at the items for Luke, even a Windtalker there to just seal the deal to get more damage, I believe, during the end sequence. But man, they're just so good at just identifying what needs to be done. I think that I keep saying that, but they just know the win condition, and if it's not achievable, they revise immediately and try and find something. I don't know if it's a group effort or if it's one of them that have the kind of insight, the kind of experience, but you can see it in their gameplay.
I think something to be noted or something to be mentioned that is worth mentioning has definitely got to be, well, first we'll take a look at the goal distribution here, which was phenomenal, I would say, for Chidera, right? The entire game just really stopping Eman from getting to a point where he can be a threat. And when he did get to that point, Eman, it was a bit too late. They had lost too many base turrets, and Geek Fam had control of the game fully. But I want to talk a little bit about their drafts this game, because we were talking about Game 2 and how that was the Geek Fam draft. This is an even more Geek Fam draft. It's literally all their strong points. Luke on a playmaking hero, that's a Lapu for you, right? And then you have the mid lane, a boy on the Faramis still, giving that away. BBB, big brain plays. Of course, he's got to be able to make those BB plays on the chip. And then Claudera, all throughout the regular season, this man was feared on this Claude pick. And then Ray even performing, out-retching Super Ken so many times in the series.
Yeah. So you have, I think between us, you have the Bigetron degree here, Mirko. So what do you think about this match overall? Because I don't think, if a team is good, they're not just easily sweeping everyone 3-0. There has to be something going on the other side of the court. What do you think was the biggest problem from Bigetron?
I think the biggest problem is just that they lost their vision, right? They lost how they can take games in the mid game. They're a very early game team right now, right? And it just feels like Bigetron Alpha struggle so much in the mid game. They struggle to find creative ways. I think, ironically, they remind me of Alter Ego in the regular season. Very template in the early game, but very good in the early game. But once the game gets to a point where you need creativity, when you need to find these angles to take the game, that's where they lack. Very template, but very readable.
We'll see though in a second a golden moment of that match, what happened in that match, and also the comms that happened between Geek Fam players in a second.
Well, we'll have to see. I think there's going to be interesting communication coming in from Geek Fam, especially with that clean performance. We'll have to see.
Dia balik loh.
Ayo, mau nggak? Ada winter. Oke, jangan paksa.
Balik guys.
Ya, aman. Liatin kan guys.
Alat dulu.
Buaskan. Mati aja. Aman.
Itu gak ada flicker kan, Cok? Nova?
Iya, gak ada.
Orang. Ini arot
dulu. Tangan lu. Moskop.
Bolu, bantu lu guys.
Moskop lu ya.
Mati.
Moskop lihat guys.
Aman.
Bolu
guys.
Mati gak, Boy? Mati. Balik dulu. Gue tutupin. Aman, gue tutupin.
Gue bisa beli.
Mereka udah reset ya. Ray, jangan mati, Ray.
Aman, gue dulu.
Amin. Masih guys.
Sabar, kalem. Gue hidup lagi. Lihat guys.
Ayo, bareng.
Gak ada wian. Ini.
Gue tahu aman. Gue mau kejar mereka guys. Gak ada aman. Oke, lu lihat dia Loy. Mau coba mati, Moreno mati. Guys, sembunyi aja.
Aman, gak usah sembunyi.
Moreno mati, nice. Mati sini. Nice guys, menang guys. Alhamdulillah. Nice, sudah santai.
Nice one.
The thing that I noticed, the leadership of Paloy as well. And there's a lot of times where the calls were all over the place and they actually knew each other. Knew like, what's really the correct play here? Who will we go for instead of just focusing on different purposes at once? Which is not really what you're supposed to do. And that might be one of the reasons why Geek Fam were able to dominate PTR in this game. The disconnection from Bigetron Alpha is a contrast to the game that Geek Fam is playing. The fam unity, the fam, they're just connected.
They did more than just connecting, right? I mean, they understood how to play and they fixed the mistakes. In the regular season, in the last 2 seasons, I think mainly it was Luke who overextends in a lot of these skirmishes and sometimes makes those big plays without any follow-up. But now with Beloy always saying, don't force it, calm down, the team just looks like Geek Fam's prime.
It really feels that way. And man, it's almost like they have some kind of support here. This has to be a reason why they're so good. What do you think it is, Shevin?
Because they have GoPay, man.
Oh,
because
okay.
It's in the GoPay app and everyone has a chance to win free GoPay coins up to 10K. For your champion opens at 10 AM daily with prizes including GoPay coins and smartphones. Yes, enjoy 100 times transfers to any account and the cheapest phone credit out there. And also, take advantage of the exciting promos for topping up diamonds with GoPay cashback up to 20K. Come to the Jakarta International Velodrome and do not forget to stop to the GoPay booth. There are a lot of exciting things here. The activities from a lucky spin with prizes.
And there's a link down below. There's an app as well to go and find and look right just here. QR code. Make your life easier. Take your S24, scan it with the camera, and also while you're at it, open the Click Into Mart app because you guys can get a promo code of 15,000.
Yep, you can get some snacks, you can get pretty much anything. If you don't want to watch this show together or playing games together, even more exciting, you know, there's always has to be snacks. No need to be complicated. You can just shop online in a store by Click Into Mart, the Into Mart shopping app with a lot of utilities here. Mainly in the Indomart, there's also Point Coffee. We also have one in the desk right now. I'm gonna save it for later in the hotel because I love just the me time with Point Coffee, watching some YouTube videos, watching the downfall of watching how Geek Fam dominated the opposing team. I like it. That's something that I want to do. Maybe in your room, Mirko, after this.
All right, I mean, you know, I'll welcome it. That. My room is no longer a room. It's a cave because it's me and Arashi. We are roommates in the cave. Welcome to the cave.
The caveman.
The caveman. But it's okay because even as cavemen, we need energy, right? Point Coffee gets us that energy. We can go ooga booga a bit louder with Point Coffee. And you guys can find Point Coffee at any of the Indomart stores, and it's near everywhere. Even here, you can go and walk by to Indomart. But if you have trouble seeing where Indomart is in Jakarta, you might need a pair of glasses, my friend,
Yeah.
because it's everywhere. How could you miss it?
It might be Friday, but tomorrow is Saturday.
Oh,
I can actually go to Saturday right now. I'm a time traveler. Watch this. Whoa, it's Saturday right now.
Is this how you were able to predict 3-0?
Of course, of course.
You can see the future with
Yeah, I
these
can see the
glasses?
future. Look at that. Oh my god, Geek Fam is winning MSC 2024.
Whoa!
Oh my god.
I think the curse...
Somebody clip
Lloyd
it.
Finals MVP?
Somebody
Oh my god.
clip it.
We'll see if that is true. That's the power, man. Too much power.
Oh my god.
But if
my
you guys
head
want that
hurts.
power,
Not really.
gear up for the launch of Saturdays and MPL ID, the collaboration on the 4th of March. This eyewear is the secret weapon for dominating in the battlefield, just like Geek Fam. You see those glasses on the Geek Fam, logo? Probably Saturday. It's available at www.saturdays.com and all Saturdays stores. For more info, follow what? At Saturdays. What?
Lifestyle on Instagram and also TikTok. Yeah. TikTok, the gram. I'm sorry.
That was such
cringe,
like a...
right? That was cringe. I'm sorry.
That was like a
came out of
teacher
nowhere.
trying to be
That was
cool.
my lowest moment as a caster.
But it's
Like,
okay.
How you do, fellow kids?
Yeah, it's like, yo, follow me on the, what, TikTok gram? What do you say?
TikTok, on the gram.
The TikTok
Yeah.
and the gram.
We'll give you a pass because Geek Fam smashed Bigetron Alpha.
Yeah, they have a lot of gold in their hand.
They
Way
got-
too much.
it's
in
almost
fact.
like they got
Pro
real
Chitera,
gold.
Yeah. You can get it on Ube as gold. Get it now, only 150 pieces available.
150?
Limited edition.
150. We gotta
Benedetta
get now.
Electro Katana. Whoa, is that? And Mythic Warrior Rings. I am very interested in that. Benedetta Electro Katana? And
like
a
a necklace.
collaboration between UBS Gold and Mobile Legends Bang Bang. MPL Indonesia Season 13 is available offline at the UBS Gold booth at MPL Playoffs and online at ubslifestyle.com and UBS Lifestyle e-commerce. The katana, can I use it?
No, it's an accessory.
I don't know. I'll have to see. Because I might use it on you after, the broadcast, after this match as well, for no reason.
Yes, for no particular reason.
UBS Gold, make me a Tigreal shield accessory.
Are you a Tigreal main?
No, not really, but
So
he has a
what do you
shield.
Why
to
do you want a
defend it
shield?
from the katana.
I thought,
Alright.
because his main is glue back in the day. Now, what do you play now?
I play a lot of heroes. I'm switching to mid laner right now because I realized that EXP lane is kind of boring.
Oh, Rashi, he's gonna beat you in mid lane. He says. He says you're bad at mid lane.
I like
Bring it,
Novaria.
man.
Oh, bring it, bring it.
Just bring it. He's like you're trash. You just said you're trash.
Well,
Garbage.
I'm
said
like
you're
trash,
garbage.
but I'm not a caveman.
Oh,
I'm
gosh,
civilized.
man.
Hey,
I'm a normal
Your
citizen.
intellect won't save you when we get to fisticuffs, bro. I'm just saying.
We got point
There's
coffee.
2 cavemen and 1 guy
Yeah.
with fancy MVP glasses.
Yeah.
We're gonna stomp on ya.
You can see the future, but we got energy. Point coffee.
Oh man.
We're gonna pour coffee on you. Old
Oh.
school.
You know, I don't mind a coffee bath. That sounds interesting.
What? Chef, whenever you put those glasses on, you're very interesting.
Yeah, oh, we're gonna see. We're gonna see in a second, right? Game 1 has already, match 1 is already ended. We are going to continue with Onyx on versus EVOS in a second after this.
Not Bigetron.